Brother-in-law, don't panic. Evelyn said my sister's been doing great, remember? Dr. Aiden is in there with her. It's going to be fine, Riley said, instructing a servant to bring over some tea. No one touched it. This was a premature birth, and the air was thick with tension. The due date wasn't until after the new year. They'd arranged for the hospital then, only setting up the medical equipment at home as a worst-case scenario backup. They never thought they'd actually hit that worst-case scenario. Liam stood glued to the spot outside the room, listening to the muffled, urgent discussions and Cassandra's cries of pain. His heart felt like it was being twisted into a knot. Caleb, Liam, why is Cassandra going into labor early? Did she eat something she wasn't supposed to? Catherine rushed down the stairs, wrapped in a heavy coat and leaning on P18.She for support. Her legs were so weak she nearly collapsed. I don't know, Riley answered, her voice trembling. My brother-in-law and I were putting up window decorations, and she was just sitting in bed drinking tea, and then suddenly. How could this happen? Catherine's face was ghost white. It was never like this when I was pregnant with her or Riley. P18.She quickly tried to comfort her. You're forgetting, Catherine. She's carrying twins. The chances of premature labor were significantly higher with twins. All right, I forgot. Catherine slapped her forehead. The door to the room flew open and Evelyn Reed rushed out, her expression frantic. Mr. Lynn, I'm here. How is she? Liam and the others surged forward. Quick, come with me. You need to disinfect and come inside, Evelyn urged. Realizing something was serious, Liam nodded immediately, following her into a side room to be scrubbed down. He changed into a set of medical scrubs and entered the delivery room. The air was a suffocating mix of anxiety and Cassandra's agonized cries, each one tightening the knot in his chest. Liam, stop. When Cassandra saw him enter, the tears she'd been holding back streamed down her face. Her beautiful features were scrunched in pain, and her forehead was slick with sweat. Liam rushed her aside, leaning down and taking her small hand in his. I'm here. Don't be afraid. I'm right here. I'm never having kids again. Stop. Liam, it hurts so much. Tears carved paths down her pale cheeks. Her fingers dug into his hand, the nails threatening to break the skin. Liam's heart was in his throat. He forced his voice to be gentle. Okay, I promise you. After this, we're done. No more. Squeeze my hand. If it hurts, just squeeze. I'm not going anywhere. Ma'am, mister. Lynn is here now. You don't have to be afraid. Evelyn coached from the side. Deep breaths. Follow my rhythm. In and out. Following the rhythm, the familiar scent of Liam beside her calmed Cassandra slightly. She bit down hard on her lip, trying to steady her breathing as Evelyn instructed. A moment later, a sharp cry echoed through the room. Wah! As the first baby was lifted away, Cassandra's face was utterly drained of color. One is out. He's out, Evelyn announced. You're doing great, ma'am. Just one more to go push. She shot a meaningful look at Liam. Liam understood. He tightened his grip on her arm. Cassandra, we're halfway there. Don't you dare fall asleep on me. I'm here. Cassandra was too weak to even speak. Her mouth opened, and after a moment of struggling, two faint words escaped. It hurts. He had never seen her this vulnerable. Tears welled in his own eyes. He placed her hand on his other arm, forcing himself to sound strong. Then grab on. It's okay, I can take it. We'll never do this again, okay? I'm with you. Don't be scared. One more big push, ma'am. He's almost here. With Evelyn's encouragement, another piercing cry filled the air. Wah! When Liam looked back, Cassandra had already passed out. Evelyn, however, was beaming. That's wonderful, Mr. Lynn. They're both here. Liam had no interest in the babies right now. His entire world was focused on Cassandra. Seeing her unconscious, his heart nearly stopped. How is she? Oh, she's fine, Evelyn reassured him. She just fainted from exhaustion. The delivery was smooth, no major complications. She just needs to rest. Liam finally let out a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. His eyes were red as he gave his instructions. Take care of her. Make sure nothing goes wrong. Seeing how devoted he was to her boss, Evelyn smiled warmly. Don't worry, Mr. Lynn. I've been with her for years. I won't let anything happen. You should go out and see your children. I'll handle things here. After one last look at Cassandra, Liam gave a heavy nod and left. He followed Dr. Aiden out of the room. In two incubators lay two tiny, red, wrinkled babies. They were frankly ugly. The moment he stepped out, the crowd swarmed him. Caleb was the first to speak. How's Cassandra? Everyone snapped to attention, their worried gazes fixed on Liam and the doctor. Dr. Aiden smiled. Ms. Thorne is fine, just exhausted. She needs plenty of rest. However, Both babies are premature, so they'll need to stay in the incubators for now. We can take them out once they're a bit stronger. Thank God, thank God. Caleb's tense shoulders finally relaxed. He discreetly wiped a tear from his eye as he looked at the two incubators, a smile finally spreading across his face. Catherine breathed a sigh of relief, her gaze softening as she looked at the babies. A wide grin lit up her face. A boy and a girl. Caleb, come look. They're fraternal twins. Fraternal twins? Caleb exclaimed, his face lighting up. That's a sign of great fortune. He hurried over to get a closer look. Brother-in-law, you didn't know? Riley sidled up to Liam, a teasing smile on her face as she noted his confused expression. Liam scratched his head, embarrassed. I was so worried, I didn't even notice. They are more real than gold. Chloe chimed in, smiling. Congrats, Liam. A boy and a girl. Nearby, Carol Xia smiled. Have you thought of names? It's not easy naming a boy and a girl at the same time. Yeah, brother-in-law, what are their names? Liam's gaze fell upon his children, and a smile touched his lips. Cassandra and I already discussed their nicknames. The older one, the girl, we'll call Annie, and the younger one, the boy, will be Reese. You only picked out nicknames? What about their full names? Catherine asked, grinning from ear to ear. Their full names? Liam studied them for a moment, then met the group's expectant gazes with a gentle smile. Their names will be Linnea and Asher. Linnea and Asher. Those sound nice. Is there a meaning behind them? Chloe asked, curious. A soft smile spread across Liam's face as he thought of all the moments he'd shared with Cassandra. The most profound meaning is in a locked gaze, he said quietly, as if we'd met in a past life. The moment their eyes met, an infinite love was sparked, as if they'd known each other forever. That was him and Cassandra. Their love had bloomed without them even realizing it, born from a single glance that had entangled their lives ever since. Ugh, Liam, do I have to eat this bone broth and steamed fish again? I'm going to throw up. It was noon again, and Cassandra was staring at the familiar postpartum recovery meal with a look of pure disgust. From the moment she woke up, the endless parade of bland, healthy food began. It was the same few things every single day, and the very smell now made her stomach turn. Evelyn said this stuff is full of nutrients. You have to eat it too. You know. Liam trailed off, his face flushing with awkwardness. Arg, I'm so sick of it. Can't I just have something else for a change? I've been eating this garbage for weeks. I've gained 20 pounds. Cassandra fumed, her face red with frustration. How about this? Once you're cleared, I'll help you lose the weight, Liam offered. You run a lap, I'll run too. I'll double everything. Cassandra's eyes lit up. You promise? Of course. You do 50 squats, I'll do 100. Whatever exercise you do, I'll do double. I'll be right there with you until you're happy with the results, he declared without hesitation. She raised an eyebrow, looking somewhat satisfied. Fine. We'll see how I don't work you to death. I'm looking forward to it. Now eat up. After you're done, I'll help you out of bed and we can go see the babies. Liam smiled, pushing the bowl toward her. Her eyes fell back to the tray, and the familiar scent wafted up. Cassandra's brow furrowed. With a soft gag, she grimaced and miserably scooped up a bite. Wow, they're so beautiful. Oh my God, I want to hold them so badly. In the dedicated nursery, Cassandra and Liam stared into the two incubators. After a few days of growth and proper nutrition, the baby's features had softened. The older one, the girl, had eyes exactly like Liam's. The younger boy was a perfect miniature of Cassandra. A girl who looks like her dad and a boy who looks like his mom. The old saying was true. They were an adorable pair, each with their own distinct features. Cassandra's heart melted. She wrung her hands, looking eager. You can't hold them yet, Liam reminded her, draping a blanket over her shoulders. Dr. Aiden said they're still too premature to come out of the incubators. Plus, it's snowing heavily outside, and it's cold. I know we have the heat on, but it's better to be safe. So, where did you come up with that name, anyway? Asher? It sounds a little goofy, don't you think? Cassandra teased. I was just trying to be poetic. I didn't think it through. If you don't like it, we can come up with another one, Liam explained with a laugh. No, it's fine. It sounds nice enough. I just can't wait to see how he reacts when he's older and realizes what you've done. Ha ha ha. Cassandra laughed mischievously. She leaned over the incubator, gently tapping the glass with her finger. Little Annie, little Reese, she cooed. When you grow up, you have to protect Mommy. We'll team up and bully your dad. Liam's jaw dropped. Hey now, that's not fair. The three of you are going to gang up on me. We're definitely going to bully you. It hurt like hell giving birth to them. So of course we're going to bully you. All right. We'll settle this score after your recovery month is over. Oomph. It was the new year, and a heavy snow had blanketed New York City, turning Maplewood Manor into a winter wonderland. Bundled up like a human burrito, Cassandra ventured outside for a rare stroll. Liam, still not satisfied, draped a fur coat over her. Already fuller from her recovery diet, she now looked like a round, fluffy bear. "Why don't you just wrap me in the comforter? This is so thick I can barely breathe." Liam's eyes lit up. "All right, good point. I'll go get it." "Hey." Cassandra swiftly grabbed his arm. "I was joking. Are you really going to get a comforter? I'm already wearing 5 layers. How am I supposed to walk?" "I'm just worried you'll get cold," he said, wrapping another scarf around her face until not an inch of skin was exposed. "This is so boring. All this snow, and I wanted to build a snowman." Cassandra mumbled, sinking into a chair Liam had brought out to the manor's entrance. In the front yard, Chloe, Leo, and Riley were shouting and laughing like children. A lopsided snowman with a carrot for a nose lay askew on the ground beside them. "Riley Thorne, you're dead. Why did you just throw a snowball at me?" "It's a snowball fight. Don't tell me you're scared, Chloe." "Ha ha, take this." Riley laughed, packing another snowball and launching it at Chloe. Chloe failed to dodge in time and got a face full of snow. Her face flushed red as she yelled, "Leo, get her." Riley stuffed snow down my shirt. Leo awkwardly scratched his head and bent down to form a snowball. Seeing this, Riley immediately lost her nerve. She shrieked and ran toward Liam and Cassandra. "Sister, brother-in-law, they're ganging up on me. You have to protect me." She ducked behind Liam, then pointed triumphantly at Chloe. "Chloe, Xia, if you want to fight, fight one-on-one. 2 against 1. What kind of hero are you? You're the one who ambushed me." Chloe retorted, not backing down. "Brother Liam, sister Cassandra, you be the judges." She started it with a sneak attack. "What's wrong with me getting a little revenge?" Great. The 2 drama queens were at it again. This wasn't the first time. When they were friends, they were inseparable. When they fought, it was all-out war. Like judges on a tribunal, Cassandra and Liam sat on the porch steps at the main entrance while Riley and Chloe, red-faced, argued heatedly. Cassandra's expression darkened. Liam's mouth twitched. He glanced back at them and wrapped an arm around Cassandra. "Don't you dare hit Cassandra with a snowball, or you'll have me to deal with." The protective remark instantly improved Cassandra's mood. Riley's eyes widened. She gripped the back of Liam's collar and whined. "Brother-in-law, I'm your sister-in-law. You're not even going to defend me?" Chloe immediately put her hands on her hips, pointing at Riley with audacious confidence. "You brat, get down here. I'm going to bury you in snow." Like 2 pillars, Riley and Chloe chased each other around Liam and Cassandra, playing out a real-life Tom and Jerry. Terrified of Liam's threat, they ran back and forth without daring to bump into Cassandra. Behind them, Catherine stepped outside and saw the chaos. Her face immediately hardened. "What are you 2 doing? Can't you see Cassandra is still recovering? What if you run into her?" she scolded. At the sight of an elder, Riley and Chloe froze. They exchanged a glance, stuck out their tongues, made a face at each other, and ran off. "Mom, what are you doing out here?" Cassandra asked, turning to meet her mother's gaze. Liam turned his head at the same time. Catherine's expression was troubled. She frowned. "The security guards just called. Princess Anna is here." "Princess Anna? Why is she here?" Liam was stunned, glancing at an equally confused Cassandra. Catherine sighed, looking helpless. "Charles called to ask how the pregnancy was going. Your father has a big mouth and told him about the twins." The old man was ecstatic and said he was sending Anna over to see the babies. "Oh, I see," Liam nodded. "Well, let her in." "Okay." Seeing Liam had no objection, Catherine nodded and gave the order over the phone. A few moments later, a black car pulled into the snow-covered courtyard and stopped at the entrance. The door opened, and Princess Anna stepped out, dressed in a formal gown. The second she was out of the car, she gasped from the cold and pulled her white shawl tighter. "It's freezing here," she complained, her eyes immediately finding Cassandra and Liam sitting by the door. Liam stood up with a smile. "Princess Anna, you should have given us a heads up. We had no idea you were coming." "My father heard Cassandra had given birth," Anna explained with a smile. "He's too busy to get away, so he sent me to see the children first." Her gaze landed on Cassandra, and after looking her up and down, she laughed. "Good, dress warmly. It's too cold here. Don't catch a cold." She took a gift box from the attendant behind her and handed it to Liam. "This is a New Year's gift from my father and me. There's something for the babies in there, too." Liam accepted it with a smile and a thank you. "Come inside, it's warmer. The babies are in their incubators. They just finished feeding and are asleep now," Catherine said, gesturing toward the house. Anna nodded and followed her inside. Liam helped Cassandra up, and they went in as well. "The babies are so beautiful." Leaning over the incubators, Anna's eyes lit up. She pulled out her phone and started snapping pictures. Father will be so happy to see these. You have no idea. Ever since he found out Cassandra was pregnant, he's been asking every single day when they would be born. My ears were about to fall off. Anna complained while she continued taking photos. Liam and Cassandra exchanged a look and smiled helplessly. Their 1-month celebration is in a few days, Catherine proposed. If he can make it, Charles should come too. We can all have dinner together. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Anna said, shaking her head. It's the new year, and Father has a lot of corporate matters to deal with. This is the busiest time for him, with everyone rushing to get his signature. I don't think he can clear his schedule. I see. Catherine nodded. Caleb is the same. He has to go back to work after the new year. A big corporation is a lot of work. Both being from prominent families, they understood this well. Liam, Cassandra, when do you plan on returning to the UK? Anna asked, looking at them. Afraid they might refuse, she quickly added, my father. He really misses you both. Liam glanced instinctively at Cassandra. He was about to answer when she tugged on his sleeve. We're going on our honeymoon after the new year, Cassandra answered first, not giving a specific date. We'll see when we make it to the UK. An answer was better than no answer. Anna smiled. All right. Her attention returned to the babies. A second later, she gasped. Oh, right, the 1-month celebration. I have to tell Father to prepare a gift. With that, she hurriedly pulled out her phone again and stepped aside to make a call, her excitement palpable. Liam and Cassandra looked at each other and smiled. The 1-month celebration was packed. First, Caleb and Catherine, dressed to the nines, arrived to offer their blessings. They were followed by Lucinda and Theodore Thorne. After them came the Tafts, the Orwells, and others, all business partners of the Thorne family, each arriving with gifts in hand to attend the celebration. Liam's side was also well represented. His grandparents, George and Martha Sia, who had been brought over earlier, sat at the head table. Next to them were Liam's loyal friends, Carl Sawyer and Brandon Jung. The banquet was split into 2 halls. The main hall hosted the partner families, while the secondary hall was for Liam's family and friends. Of course, many of Chloe's and Riley's friends had been invited as well, turning it into something of a massive reunion. The moment Liam entered, Brandon Jung grabbed his hand. Liam, man, I can't believe you invited me. This is a gift for the kids. It's not much, but it's from the heart. He held 2 thick envelopes, insisting on stuffing them into Liam's hands. Carl Sawyer was not to be outdone. He pulled 2 exquisitely wrapped envelopes from his pocket and walked toward Liam. Brandon, that's not cool. We agreed to give them together later. Why'd you go first? He said, also pushing the thick envelopes into Liam's hands. Both men had profited handsomely from their association with Liam. Take Brandon, for example. After riding the coattails of that one night with Laura Quinn, she became a famous online personality. Combined with her new album, her popularity skyrocketed in just a month, making her a top-tier celebrity. Laura had wanted to thank Liam and Cassandra personally several times, but Brandon had always shut it down. The couple was doing fine, and Laura showing up would just be awkward, so he never mentioned it to Liam. But Laura was grateful. She signed an exclusive contract with Brandon, giving him a 30% cut just because he'd made her famous. Over the new year, Brandon had made a fortune from the viral videos of various pop stars. When he heard about the baby's celebration, he didn't hesitate to come bearing cash. Carl Sawyer was in the same boat. After Liam's hometown in Quincy became a tourist hotspot, his factory became the sole supplier for the area. They even built a new highway exit for the Onshi neighborhood. Carl had caught the first wave of the boom. The more famous Liam became, the more people visited the town, and the more they spent. The villagers all bought their stock from him. His factory was now several times larger and more prosperous than before. It was all thanks to Liam. The 4 envelopes were stuffed so full that Liam could barely hold them. What are you talking about? It's just been a while since I've seen you, Liam. I'm just happy, Brandon said with a laugh. Liam smiled. Well, I thank you both on behalf of my children. Hey, don't mention it. This is all we can really offer. If you wanted some rare collector's item, we'd be out of luck. Carl said honestly. Liam gestured to a chair. Okay, I accept the sentiment. Take a seat. There's no hierarchy today. It's been a while since we've all had a drink. Let's have a few later. The baby's 1-month celebration also marked the end of Cassandra's postpartum recovery. The 2 children were being passed around by Caleb and Catherine, doted on by all the elders. They were in no short supply of people to hold them. Liam and Cassandra took the opportunity to slack off, turning the celebration into a friends get-together. Seeing everyone so happy, Riley brought over several bottles of red wine and placed them in front of Cassandra. Sis, no matter what you say, I'm indulging today. I know it's been a while for you too. Let's let loose. Pointing to the bottles in front of Liam and his friends, Riley pulled Chloe over, and they both looked expectantly at Cassandra. The more you have to abstain, the more you crave it. Cassandra never knew she could get addicted to something so frivolous, but after weeks of her recovery meals, she was about to vomit. The sight of the red wine made her eyes light up. Especially when she saw Liam and his friends drinking heartily, her competitive spirit flared. "We're drinking," she declared without hesitation. "All right." Riley's face lit up with excitement as she immediately started pouring the wine. "It really has been a long time since we've all sat down and talked," Brandon said. "Speaking of which, Liam, we really have the Hamiltons to thank. If they hadn't been so blind." "Hey, you idiot, on a great day like this, why bring up that unlucky family?" Carl scolded before Brandon could finish. The wine had loosened his tongue. Brandon, looking dazed, slowly realized his mistake and slapped himself lightly on the mouth. "Sorry, Liam, my bad. Slipped up, said the wrong thing. Sorry. After all he'd been through, did they really think he'd get angry over something like that?" Liam just laughed it off. "It's fine. Think of it as just gossip. Say what you want. What's there to hide?" Brandon exchanged a look with Carl, but didn't dare bring it up again. He became noticeably more reserved. Seeing this, Liam smiled. "I said it's fine. Do you really think I'd get angry over the Hamiltons now? We're all sitting here together. There are no off-limit topics. Say what's on your mind. If you're going to say it, then say it. Don't leave us hanging." Liam already gave you the green light. Carl, being the oldest, understood Liam's meaning and nudged Brandon. Brandon glanced cautiously at Liam. Seeing he wasn't angry, he finally relaxed. It's nothing. A friend of mine went to Las Vegas on vacation. He came back and told me to cherish what I have, because you never know when you'll go bankrupt." "What happened?" Carl's gossip radar went off. Brandon explained, "My friend was staying at a hotel in Vegas, and the maid who came to his room was this woman named Sandra. She had this air of a wealthy woman, so he asked about her. Turns out it was the Hamiltons." He leaned in, getting more animated. "And David Hamilton, he's apparently bedridden with illness. Can't even leave his room. His daughter, Noelle, went crazy. The family is broke, surviving on what little Sandra makes as a maid. Can you believe it? David Hamilton, at his age, sharing a room with his own daughter. The three of them crammed into one room at night. It's just disgraceful. Even if you're broke, you can't live like that. I remember Noelle being a decently known actress, right? She must be an adult. Why is she sleeping in the same bed as her dad?" Carl exclaimed. Neither of them knew that the Hamiltons' former glory was long gone, destroyed by their own actions. Liam didn't respond, quietly lifting his glass and taking a sip. "She did it to herself," Brandon added. "She had a perfectly good family and threw it all away." Noticing Liam's silence, Brandon suddenly asked, "Hey, Liam, I remember the Hamiltons had another daughter who went abroad, right? Did she not try to contact her family?" Carl looked over as well. Gossiping wasn't just a woman's talent. Liam's eyes darkened. He took another sip of wine, set down his glass, and said flatly, "She's dead." "Dead?" Brandon gasped, then quickly clapped a hand over his mouth. Realizing the conversation had taken a wrong turn, Carl quickly interjected, "On a day like this, let's not use such unlucky words. Let's change the subject." Right. No more talk like that." Brandon nodded vigorously. Liam, however, smiled candidly. "They're just irrelevant people. Whether they have good fortune or bad, it doesn't matter if we talk about it or not. People are born to be talked about. That's just how it is for everyone. What are you guys talking about over there? Come play cards with us." Across the table, Riley, her cheeks flushed, stood up unsteadily. Her eyes were hazy as she pointed drunkenly at Liam's group. Brandon was also quite drunk, his head swimming. He'd nearly fallen off his chair several times. As the only man who was still relatively sober, Liam turned to Carl. "Carl, you should help him get some rest. There's a bed next door. I'll have a servant bring some broth over." Carl nodded repeatedly. "Okay, I'll take him now." Looking at the table across from them, where the women were slumped over, Liam sighed and stood up to walk over. Chloe had several strips of paper stuck to her face. She looked up, flushed. "Brother Liam, you have to help me. I can't beat them. These two sisters are such cheaters. They're ganging up on me." She started tugging on Liam's arm. Liam's mouth twitched as his eyes naturally fell on Cassandra. In comparison, Cassandra was still relatively clear-headed. Her gaze was fixed on the spot where Chloe was gripping Liam's arm, her eyes filled with obvious displeasure. Liam frowned. "Stop drinking. You three have already finished 6 bottles. If you keep going, are you even going to eat dinner?" "I already had the servants bring some snacks over," Riley said, pointing casually at a small side table. Liam glanced at the table, which was covered in small plates. The corner of his mouth twitched. The banquet hadn't even started, and they were already feasting. Let's play cards. Cassandra's cool voice cut through the air, tinged with a command. Perfect, there are 4 of us. We'll play Old Maid. As she spoke, her eyes were locked on Chloe's hand. Noticing her intense gaze, Liam's mouth twitched again. He gently pulled his arm away. Fine, I'll play. I'll shuffle. Chloe didn't seem to notice anything. Seeing Liam start to shuffle, she got excited. Quick, quick. Brother Liam, you're just in time. Now we can have a proper 2-on-2. 2-on-2? Liam silently glanced at Riley and Cassandra, then looked worriedly at Chloe. This wasn't going to be 2-on-2. It was about to be 3-on-1. My brother-in-law would never side with you. He'll obviously help my sister and me. Chloe, prepare to die. Riley stuck out her tongue and made a face. Chloe immediately tensed up, grabbing Liam's arm again. Brother Liam, you're on my side, right? We're the best team, aren't we? Riley got agitated too, rushing over to grab Liam's other arm. Brother-in-law, I'm your sister-in-law. You have to help my sister and me. With a girl on each arm, Liam was trapped. He was met with Cassandra's face, which had turned as black as charcoal. Even though it was winter and the heat was on, it wasn't summer hot inside. Yet, beads of sweat formed on Liam's forehead. Chloe, having been targeted all day, was getting desperate. She peeked out from in front of Liam and glared at Riley. Why are you always trying to steal my brother? My brother and I are the best team. Riley shot back without missing a beat, her words sharp. Who's stealing? This is my brother-in-law, my sister's husband. Of course he's on our side. What about me? Nye. I'm so mad. I'm going to rip your mouth off today. Seeing the 2 firecrackers about to explode, Liam took a deep breath, raised his arms, and shook them off. Enough, he barked. Are we playing cards or not? That one shout finally silenced them. Placing the deck on the table, Liam began to deal with professional precision. He removed the Old Maid card and set it aside, then divided the rest into 4 piles, 1 for each of them. Holding his cards, Liam asked, who draws first? Wait. Before the other 2 could answer, Cassandra's icy voice cut in. First, let's set the rules. What does the loser have to do? Chloe blinked, ripping a paper strip off her face. Drink, of course. What else? Cassandra's expression remained sharp. How much? This game could take a while. 1 loss means. Riley's eyes scanned the table, finally landing on a wine bottle. She made a grand declaration. A whole bottle. Chug a whole bottle of red wine? We might as well drink beer. At least the alcohol content was lower. Seeing the 3 women's flushed faces, a shiver went down Liam's spine. Cassandra could not get too drunk. Beer it is, then. 1 bottle it is. I don't believe it. With my brother here, I'll definitely take you all down. Chloe rolled up her sleeves, full of fighting spirit. Since she had agreed, Liam couldn't refuse. He had no choice but to nod. It was easy enough to guess what the 3 women were thinking. Liam knew them well enough that even in a game of chance, he could read their micro-expressions and calculate the outcome. Since Cassandra was playing, he couldn't let Riley lose too badly. Taking advantage of the fact that the other 2 were already a bit tipsy, Liam played fair. He steered the game so that besides himself and Cassandra, the 2 younger women each lost a round, taking turns. The scene played out like this. First round, Riley lost. She had no idea Liam was manipulating the game. She just figured it was bad luck. Without a word, she grabbed a beer and started chugging. Second round, Chloe lost. Facing Riley's taunts, Chloe was defiant, gulping down a bottle of beer. Third round, Riley lost again. Fourth round, Chloe lost. By the 6th round, both were burping from the beer. Chloe lost again. Seeing the embarrassed look on her face, Liam felt a pang of pity and picked up a beer. I'll drink this one for her. Riley was not happy. No way. I drank mine myself. Brother-in-law, why are you helping her? He's my brother. Why can't he help me? Chloe shot back, not giving an inch. Watching Liam finish the beer, Riley instinctively glanced at her sister, hoping for backup, only to see Cassandra wearing a thoughtful expression. Since Cassandra said nothing, Riley didn't dare push it. She reluctantly shuffled the cards and yelled, "Again, bring it on." As Liam finished his beer, he noticed Cassandra staring at him, a look of dawning realization in her eyes. A knot formed in his stomach. He watched Riley shuffle the cards, a growing sense of dread. Just as he calculated. In the 7th round, Liam successfully engineered Riley's loss. But this time, before Riley could grab the beer waiting for her, Cassandra's hand shot out faster, snatching the bottle. "I'll take this for her," she said coldly. "Shit." Liam's brow tightened as he watched, helpless, as Cassandra popped the cap and chugged the entire bottle. Only he knew that Cassandra was the one person who absolutely could not get drunk. But now, Chloe cried out, "Sister Cassandra, how can you drink for her? She's a big girl. Let her drink it herself." Riley, on the other hand, looked smug. She put her hands on her hips and smirked. "Oomph. You think you're the only one with a brother? I have a sister. What's wrong with my sister drinking one for me?" Liam silently wiped a bead of sweat from his forehead, meeting Cassandra's "I see right through you" glare. The corner of his mouth twitched. At this point, all he could do was keep playing. And so, a new round of proxy drinking began. After switching to beer, the two younger women didn't end up drinking much. Instead, Liam and Cassandra were the ones clearing the bottles in front of them. Eventually, drinking for the other became the default rule. Finally, Liam gave up on calculating the cards. He let fate decide. By the end of the game, Liam was seeing double, and while Cassandra maintained a stoic expression, her body was swaying. She was leaning against the sofa armrest, her eyes barely open. "I'm done playing. What's the point? Liam, come here. Carry me." The completely drunk Cassandra no longer cared that there were other people in the room. She started barking orders at Liam. "Okay, carrying," Liam mumbled. He forced his heavy eyelids open and pushed himself toward the sofa. The moment he got close, Cassandra's arms snaked around his neck, the smell of alcohol wafting from her. "I want to go to bed. This sofa is uncomfortable. Carry me. I'll do my best." Liam swayed on his feet, mustering all his strength to slide his arms under Cassandra's knees. Thanks to his regular workouts, he managed to lift her smoothly, despite his own instability. Seeing them about to leave, Riley and Chloe exchanged a look. They'd been sidelined for a while and hadn't had much to drink, so their buzz was already fading. They wisely didn't try to stop them. "You few, escort my sister and brother-in-law upstairs." Riley waved over a few servants. Chloe quickly added, "Yes, follow them closely. Don't let them fall." "Yes, miss." The servants complied, trailing behind Liam. With the two main players gone, the lively atmosphere in the room fizzled out. Riley scratched her head in frustration. "This is so boring." "Yeah, once my brother and sister-in-law left, it's no fun anymore." Chloe propped her chin on her hand, looking dejected. Just then, Carl Sawyer and Leo walked out of the bedroom, chatting, having just settled Brandon Jung down. Chloe's eyes lit up. "Leo," she called out excitedly. "Come here." Leo paused, looking over. "What's up? Let's play cards. My brother and Cassandra went to rest, and Riley and I are bored." "Perfect, the four of us can play." "Huh." Leo glanced uncertainly at Carl Sawyer. He was fine with it. The three of them were around the same age and could have fun. But Carl was nearly 40, practically an elder to them. Could they really play together? Riley immediately nodded in agreement. "Yep, perfect, four of us. Let's play. It's no fun with just me and Chloe." Come on, come on." Chloe didn't hesitate, pulling Leo by the arm and pushing him onto the sofa. Leo didn't have a problem with it, but he cast a worried look at Carl. Carl, however, was easygoing. He sat down on the opposite sofa with a smile. "Sure, let's play together. I play with my son all the time at home." "See? So magnanimous. Leo, loosen up. Let's team up and destroy Riley." Chloe slapped Leo's shoulder, full of enthusiasm. Seeing this, Riley immediately turned to Carl. "Mr. Sawyer, those two are a couple. They're definitely going to team up. You have to help me. You can't be biased." Riley's cute act was devastatingly effective on Carl, who had always wanted a daughter. He had no intention of refusing. He nodded seriously. "Don't worry. I definitely won't go easy on them." As lively as it was downstairs, it was deathly quiet upstairs. Inside the elevator, with the servants trailing behind them, the silence was a relief to Liam. He let out a long sigh. In his arms, Cassandra was already getting restless, tugging at her own leg and muttering, "Where are my shoes? Are we there yet? I want to take off my shoes." "We're not in the room yet, hey." Liam tried to stop her, but it was too late. With a flick of her fingers, she hooked her high heel and sent it flying. With two soft thuds, the servants behind them bent down to pick them up. Liam's mouth twitched. He shook his head hard to stay awake. As the elevator doors opened, he carried Cassandra, stumbling and swaying, but he managed to get her into the room. "You guys go get some more dishes. And a few bottles of vodka." The moment she was placed on the bed, Cassandra struggled to sit up and ordered the servants at the door. "Still drinking?" The words hit Liam like a shockwave, sobering him up instantly. Cassandra was not pleased. "Yes, why not? I'm happy today. I've been holding back for half a year. I finally get to let loose once. Why won't you let me drink? You've already had a lot today. Red wine, then beer, and now you want vodka? You'll kill yourself mixing all that." Liam was getting frantic, his tone hardening. The serious tone sounded like a criticism to Cassandra. She immediately pouted, staring at him with wounded eyes. "You're yelling at me." Liam froze, quickly trying to explain. "What? How am I yelling at you, my lady? It's not that I won't let you drink. I'm just saying you've already had plenty. Never try to reason with a woman. This saying applies at all times. Especially now, With Cassandra completely drunk, she couldn't hear a word of his explanation. Her nose tingled, and her eyes instantly reddened, filling with a misty sheen. "You don't love me anymore," she choked out. I? Who could possibly resist that?" Liam's heart melted. He turned to the servants. "Then just bring 1 bottle of vodka. And bring some more juice and soda, too," he added as an afterthought. The servants took their leave, and the bedroom fell into a heavy silence. Cassandra ran her fingers through her hair in frustration, looking at Liam with dissatisfaction. "Come here. Why are you standing so far away?" With nowhere to step, Liam awkwardly rubbed his nose and finally moved to the edge of the bed. The moment he sat down, Cassandra launched herself at him like a torpedo. She wrapped her arms and legs around him, clinging tightly as if she were afraid he would run away. She rubbed her face against his chest. He was already drunk, and it had been far too long since they had been intimate. Her small movements sent a jolt through him, and the temperature in the room skyrocketed. "Don't move." His voice was raspy, a low warning of the storm to come. "If you keep moving, we're going to have a problem." Cassandra bit her lip and tilted her head up to stare at him. "So what? Didn't Evelyn say my recovery month is over?" She was cleared. Finally, after holding back for so long, forget Liam, she was about to lose her mind if she didn't get some release. Gazing at Cassandra, Liam grit his teeth and whispered, "So, we're doing this? Duh. Don't tell me you forgot how." Cassandra nodded without hesitation, a taunt in her voice. He'd been pent up for half a year, promising himself he'd torture her properly once she was better. He'd almost forgotten, but now she was the one starting the provocation. How could Liam possibly hold back now? He grabbed her restless wrists, his eyes darkening as he threatened, "Fine. You're the one who said it. Let's do it. Bring it on. You think I'm afraid of you? MMPH." The rest of her words were unnecessary. She never got to finish them before her mouth was sealed by his. They seemed to have forgotten that they'd asked the servants to bring them things. A few servants came up from downstairs to find the door partially ajar. The one in the lead was about to go in and ask, but then they heard Cassandra's sharp cries from inside. The servants grew anxious and rushed to the bedroom door. But as they neared, they heard strange, soft moans. They all froze, exchanging knowing glances. They placed the items on the living room table, then tiptoed out, not forgetting to close the main door on their way. Downstairs, the banquet officially began. Riley, Chloe, and the others were completely drunk and, with the help of servants, missed the main event and went to their rooms to rest. Catherine and Carol Xia, each holding a baby, chatted happily with the guests. "Hey, why aren't Liam and Cassandra here yet? One's the mother, one's the father. The banquet has started. They have to be here." Lucinda Thorne called out, standing up to go find them. But Theodore Thorne grabbed her arm. "Don't go. Let's just eat. Don't worry about them." "That's right, Mom. Don't worry so much. We'll watch the babies. Let those two have their fun," Catherine said with a knowing look. Everyone at the table was an adult who didn't know where those two had run off to and what they were doing, especially now, right after her recovery period. Upstairs, a passionate kiss had just ended. Liam fumbled to get up, muttering, "No, wait, I almost forgot. We don't have any." His sudden movement away from her made Cassandra groan in frustration. She wrapped her arms around his neck. "What do we need to prepare for? We don't need anything. Hurry up, I'm getting impatient." "No, we have to. We need to be safe. Didn't we say no more babies?" "I don't care. We're both drunk. Don't worry about it. Besides, what's one time going to do?" Cassandra not only didn't listen, but her legs snaked around him. Liam was trapped in her embrace, unable to escape. He was about to say more, but another all-consuming kiss silenced him. Fueled by the alcohol, Liam's head was already spinning. The warmth spreading between their lips made his brain feel like it was boiling. He couldn't think anymore. "Then let's not think about it," he responded dizzily, and what followed was a storm that had been suppressed for far too long. By the time the sky was completely dark and the guests downstairs had all left, Maplewood Manor finally fell silent. When he woke up again, Liam's mouth was parched. This was the price of a hangover. He felt so thirsty he could have soaked his entire body in a pool. He glanced at Cassandra, who was sleeping splayed out like an octopus. He sighed helplessly, carefully removed her limbs from his body, and got out of bed. In the living room, Liam made a beeline for the coffee table, grabbing a large bottle of green tea and chugging it. Like a desert finding rain, he gulped it down until the bottle was empty. It wasn't enough. He tore open another one. Only after 2 full bottles did he feel completely awake. He shook his head, went to the bathroom to wash up, and heard a noise from the bedroom. Peeking out, he saw Cassandra patting the empty space beside her, muttering, "Liam, I need water." Where did he go? Liam put down his toothbrush. Just a second. I'll get it for you. Carrying an armful of drinks, he returned to the bed and looked at Cassandra's dry lips with a pang of pity. Which one do you want? I'll open it for you. Cassandra squinted, her voice hoarse. Anything. I'm thirsty. Hurry, I need water. Okay, don't move. I'll open one now. Liam quickly complied, opening a bottle of orange juice and grabbing a straw to put in her mouth. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Just like Liam moments before, the juice disappeared in seconds. They had drunk so much yesterday that a little bit of liquid wasn't nearly enough to quench their thirst. Do you want some plain water? I can get you some warm water, Liam asked softly after she finished the juice. MMM. Cassandra grunted, her hand gripping his shirt, her brow furrowed in pain as she mumbled, Liam, my head hurts. After drinking so much and mixing everything, it would be a miracle if her head didn't hurt. Liam sighed and cupped her head in his hands. Let me massage it for you. Just a second. MMM. Cassandra murmured. Her eyes were hazy as she felt Liam lift her head onto his lap, his slightly rough fingers gently rubbing her temples. Too hard? How's the pressure? Tell me if it's uncomfortable. His voice was soft, a gentle whisper in her ear. It's okay, she murmured. Hand me that drink. I want more water. All right, Your Highness. Liam chuckled helplessly, grabbing another drink and placing the straw at her lips. She squinted, looking like a little queen, her face tilted up. In the transparent straw, the colorful liquid snaked its way to her lips. Outside, the warm sunlight streamed in, blanketing the sofa and carpet, illuminating the white manor and making the entire room glow. Brother Liam, are you going back to school? My professor wanted me to tell you that finals are starting, and you need to take them online. Early the next morning, Chloe arrived in Liam's study, holding a laptop. If not for her reminder, Liam would have completely forgotten he was still enrolled at the university in the UK. He snapped back to reality and quickly took the laptop. I totally forgot. I haven't even logged in these past few days. No wonder. The professor said he couldn't get in touch with you. He looked really angry. Chloe relayed the message with a grin. Liam could practically picture the professor's face. Thanks to his royal connection, Charles had donated $300 million to the university for a new library. Liam's name was on the donor wall. Though he wasn't on campus, the legends about him were. But it was a nightmare for his professor. He skipped class constantly, never even opened the online lectures, and the professor couldn't even get mad at him. He opened the university portal and saw the messages from his professor. Haven't seen you check in online recently. Is everything okay? Liam, I know your situation is unique, but you can't push it too far, can you? Can you please just check in? Don't make me look bad. The other professors have come to me several times. And the last message from a few days ago. Are you taking the final exam? Reading the messages, Liam winced. He could feel the professor's frustration through the screen. If he were in the professor's shoes, forced to cover for a truant student just because of a hefty donation, he'd be at his wits' end too. Is he really mad? When he talked to me a few days ago, his face was so dark I thought he was going to hit someone. Chloe leaned over, peering at the screen. Liam pursed his lips and started typing. I honestly forgot all about it. If you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have remembered. He replied to the professor. I'm sorry, something important came up and I forgot to check in. I will be taking the final exam. Thank you, Professor. The reply came almost instantly. An okay emoji. Clearly, the professor didn't even want to waste words on him. But he was decent enough to send over a document. When Liam saw it contained all the materials for the final, a smile spread across his face. He sent him the study guide. That saved him a lot of trouble. Money really was a cure-all. Liam downloaded the materials, confirmed the exam date, and closed the laptop. Your professor is actually really nice. He even gave you the materials. My professor isn't that kind. Leo and I have to find everything ourselves. Chloe pouted. Liam's eyes flickered to the date on the bottom right of the screen. Chloe, he said suddenly, the first day of spring is in about a month, right? The abrupt question startled her. I think so. We just finished the new year. Why do you ask, brother? Staring at the date on the screen, Liam mused. I was thinking, with a month left, isn't it time to start preparing? Preparing? Chloe was stunned. Preparing for what? What are you up to now, brother? Liam gently tapped her on the head. What else? He smiled. A wedding, of course. A wedding? Chloe's eyes went wide, her jaw dropping in disbelief. Brother, are you crazy? Didn't you and Sister Cassandra already get married? You're doing it again. Don't be silly. That didn't count as a wedding. You know what the situation was like back then? We never had a proper ceremony. Now that we have the chance, we have to do it right. Everyone knew what that last wedding had been like. Liam didn't want Cassandra to have any regrets about the most important moment of their lives. He had been planning it for a long time. He and Cassandra needed to have that ceremony. Her pregnancy with the twins had made it impossible at the time, but now that she had given birth and recovered, a wedding was definitely on the agenda. Chloe scratched her head, blinking. So, does Sister Cassandra know? Or are you planning a surprise? We agreed to do it after the new year. Well, the new year has passed, and she hasn't mentioned it. But I made a promise. So, even if she doesn't bring it up, I have to take the initiative. Liam smiled, but his expression turned thoughtful as he considered how to organize the wedding. A romantic helicopter arrival? They'd more or less already done that. Well, how about I go get Riley? Maybe she has some good ideas, Chloe offered, seeing his predicament. Good idea, but this needs to be kept a secret for now. Just between the three of us. Don't let anyone else know. You got it, brother. I promise to complete the mission. Chloe agreed readily and scurried out of the study. A few moments later, she returned with Riley, both of them rushing in and pointedly closing the door behind them. They looked like they were conducting a secret deal. Luckily, Cassandra was with Catherine and the others looking at the babies, which gave Liam some free time. The second the door was shut, Riley leaned in close. Brother-in-law, you're planning a surprise wedding for my sister, right? She asked, a huge grin on her face, as if she were the one getting married. Liam nodded with a smile. That's right. I was hoping you two could give me some ideas. I haven't figured out how to do it yet. Riley's eyes sparkled as she immediately offered a suggestion. My dad told me that when he proposed to my mom, he got a huge hot air balloon and broadcast it all over the city. Why don't you do something like that? My sister loves grand gestures. She'd be thrilled. A picture formed in Chloe's mind, and she winced. Seriously? Like one of those proposals from a TV show? Isn't that a little tacky? What's tacky about it? My sister loves that kind of stuff. You know her, brother-in-law. The bigger the spectacle, the happier she is. If you make it known to the whole city, she'll be over the moon. Riley was getting excited just talking about it. No girl could resist such a public declaration of love, especially not her sister, who thrived on being the center of attention. If Liam did that, Riley could already picture the triumphant smirk on Cassandra's face. It's a good idea, but it's not very original. Liam frowned. It wasn't that he was against the idea, but simply recreating Caleb and Catherine's story wasn't their story. Cassandra didn't lack for grand gestures. She lacked for his personal touch. Compared to Riley, Liam felt he might actually know Cassandra better. What do you mean, not original? As long as the thought is there, right? You guys are just going through with the ceremony anyway. A simple run-through should be enough. Why make it so complicated? Riley raised an eyebrow. Her words made Liam's brow furrow. Chloe, sensing his displeasure, quickly tapped Riley on the shoulder and whispered, Riley, what are you talking about? My brother and sister Cassandra never had a real wedding. This is a very important event for them. Of course he wants to do it right. Realizing her mistake, Riley quickly covered her mouth. All right. Sorry, brother-in-law. I spoke without thinking. Please don't be mad. Having seen Riley's antics plenty of times, Liam knew her too well to get truly angry. He smiled. It's fine, but what you said did make me think of a place that might be perfect for a wedding. Where? Chloe and Riley asked in unison. Liam's lips curved into a smile. Stelomar Island. Stelomar Island? Riley's eyes lit up. That's a great idea. It'll be spring, the peak tourist season on the island. With a little preparation, the wedding will be gorgeous. Yes. And if you want to make a big splash, you can even live stream it. Invite a bunch of media outlets, and the coverage will definitely rival what your uncle did back in the day. Chloe added excitedly. Then Stelomar Island it is. We'll spend the next month preparing. In a few days, I'll say I have to go on a business trip for school. You two keep your mouths shut. Don't let anyone know. Liam instructed. Riley nodded vigorously. No problem. You just go ahead and do it, brother-in-law. Chloe and I will hold down the fort. We'll keep it a secret. That's right. If Riley lets it slip, I'll deal with her. With the location settled, Liam once again reached out to Lord Charles. It was, after all, about Stelomar Island. Although Charles had gifted the island to him, the official handover process wasn't complete. To host a massive event there, he still needed to consult with him. Charles was overjoyed to receive another call from Liam. When he heard Liam planned to hold the wedding on the island he had gifted them, he was beyond thrilled. Liam was sharing his plans, treating him like a true family member. Charles didn't hesitate. No problem at all, he said with a laugh. Just give me a list of what you need, and I'll help you prepare it. Great, I've already made the list. I can send it over in a bit. And if you need, no problem. Just tell me what you need whenever you need it. Don't be polite. Charles cut him off before he could finish. Liam was naturally very grateful. On the other end of the line, Charles fell silent for a moment before speaking again, hesitantly. I can help with all of that, but, Liam, there's something I need to tell you. Go ahead, Liam replied. It's about Natalie. And Ethan Vance and Jessica Fong. Charles began, his voice hesitant. Their trial is about to begin. It's the final stage. I was thinking, if you have time, you could come. As an observer, they were no longer just accused. The evidence of their crimes was irrefutable. It was the only major case involving the British royal family to be made public in recent memory. It was also a scandal. Charles couldn't bring himself to attend. As a royal princess, Anna had to be there, but she needed an escort. Besides Liam, Charles couldn't think of anyone else. As if he had expected it, Liam readily agreed. Of course, send me the trial date, and I'll be there a day early. Charles was surprised by how quickly Liam agreed. Thank you, Liam. Thank you for agreeing. In the end, this is all my fault. It was my failure to handle my personal affairs that led to this. We're all born as blank pages. Who can guarantee they won't make a mistake while writing their story? Liam was philosophical about it. Hearing the catch in Charles's voice, he added, Actually, there's one more thing I'd like to ask of you, and I need your permission for this. Charles was taken aback, then answered without a second thought. Is there any need for such words between us? Just say what's on your mind. It's about my wedding with Cassandra. I'd like to invite you and Princess Anna to be there, alongside Cassandra's family, as our honored elders. You, what did you say? Charles was so shocked that the phone slipped from his hand and clattered onto the desk. He fumbled to pick it up, his face a mask of disbelief. Not expecting such an emotional reaction, Liam smiled. Our honored elder. Grandpa, if you're willing, I would like to invite you to be there for us. He repeated the request patiently. It was the first time Liam had ever called him that. An honored elder at the wedding. A grandpa. Ever since the incident with Natalie, the royal residence had been quiet. Charles only had 2 daughters, Natalie and Anna. Princess Anna was still unmarried, and the residence had at least felt lively when Natalie and Ethan were around. Old people crave company, but since then, it had been cold and empty. Lately, Charles had been sleeping less and less. He would go to bed early, but wake with a star before dawn. He constantly worried about Liam and Cassandra's children. He had no opportunity to see them, and even if he had the time, he didn't know in what capacity he should visit. He could only rely on the photos Anna sent him. And now Liam was inviting him to their wedding, to stand with them as family, and he had called him Grandpa. Charles's nose tingled, and before he could stop them, tears streamed down his face. Yes, he choked out, his voice thick with emotion. Yes, of course I'm willing. After the call, the wedding preparations were officially underway. Cassandra, too, had changed. Liam often saw her pushing the twins around the manor in their stroller, her usual imperious demeanor replaced by a soft maternal glow. When Charles sent the trial date, Liam discussed it with Caleb, and together with Princess Anna, they boarded a flight to the UK. Of course, before leaving, Liam and Caleb had debated whether to inform Jessica's brother, Justin. In the end, they decided to tell him. She was his sister, after all. Justin had already married P18.She. When he saw Liam again, he was a changed man. Gone was the street punk, replaced by someone who looked much more put together. Tina greeted Liam with a warm smile, pouring him a glass of water. Brother Liam, please have a seat. Justin and I just got married, so the place is a bit of a mess. Please excuse us, Tina said apologetically. Justin quickly cleared a spot on the sofa for Liam. Liam shook his head and got straight to the point. When he told them about Jessica, Justin fell silent. Brother Liam, Tina began, hesitating. It's not that we don't want to go, but I have to ask. With all the bad things my sister-in-law did, will we have to pay a fine? People are inherently selfish. Once they start their own family, their focus narrows. Justin didn't speak, but his expression said it all. He looked at Liam, torn. It was human nature. Liam didn't blame them. He said calmly, Jessica was just an accomplice, not the mastermind. You won't have to pay anything. I'm only here to inform you, because you're her family. If you want to see her, this will be your only chance. Miss this, and they would never see her again. Liam had seen enough life and death. Penelope, Isabel, Jason. All hatred ended the moment they died. He just didn't want them to have any regrets. After a long silence, Justin seemed to understand. He nodded. Then, Brother Liam, I'll go with you. I want to see my sister one last time. Then Tina, you stay home. I'll go with Brother Liam. As for my parents, just make up an excuse. It's better not to tell them news like this for now. For once, Justin sounded mature and steady. Tina nodded without another word. On the private jet to the UK, Justin experienced luxury he'd never imagined. But his mind wasn't on the once-in-a-lifetime experience. It was on the final goodbye that awaited him. Just after landing, Liam received a call from Cassandra. Her annoyed voice came through the phone. You went back to the UK and had Dad cover for you? Why didn't you tell me? What are you doing there? I had to take care of something, Liam said quickly. The trial is tomorrow. Justin wanted to see his sister. There was a pause. Then Cassandra's tone shifted, a hint of mocking curiosity in her voice. Oh, I didn't know you were so kind-hearted. He said he wanted to see her, and you just took him? Looking out at the beautiful sunset beyond the airport, Liam held the phone with one hand and raised the other. He let the last rays of light filter through his fingers. It's a final goodbye, he said softly. No one wants to live with regrets. Oomph. Cassandra snorted, a touch of her usual arrogance returning. Well, finish your business and get back here. I'm exhausted taking care of the kids by myself. Then she hung up. Neither of them said what they were really thinking. For Cassandra, she saw the change in Liam. From the very beginning, on that stormy night when he saw her being attacked and chose to walk away, to now, in the story's end, faced with his former enemies, he had let go. He had made peace with his past, even saying, no one wants to live with regrets. Liam had been subtly changed by everything he'd been through. And so had Cassandra. She put down her phone and looked at the two precious babies in their stroller, her icy expression melting into softness. Bathed in the light from the window, she picked up a baby rattle and dangled it in front of them with a mischievous smile. Annie Reese, she said in a mock-stern voice, when your daddy gets back, we're going to beat him up for leaving his poor wife and children all alone. Knowing Liam was coming, the royal family had cleared a VIP channel at the airport just for him. Led by Princess Anna, Liam and Justin walked out of the terminal. Passing a window with a view of the sunset, Justin was struck by a wave of melancholy. To think the first time I'd see a sunset in the UK would be under these circumstances. Liam glanced at him. He hadn't expected this either, but I never thought I'd one day be coming to the UK with you. Either, Liam said, his voice calm, carried on the evening breeze. Justin froze, memories of his past self flashing through his mind. His face burned with shame, and he lowered his head. Brother Liam, let's not talk about the past. I was so stupid back then. Stupid enough to think he could coast through life under the protection of his parents and sister. Stupid enough to think Liam, who owed him nothing, was his personal safety net. Liam just chuckled softly and said nothing more. Ahead, Princess Anna looked back, confused. What are you two talking about? As if by silent agreement, Liam and Justin both replied, nothing, nothing. Anna's eyes flickered, but she didn't press. She pointed to the cars waiting. Father has arranged for transport. Let's go back first. Liam nodded. Justin whispered to him, Brother Liam, are we going to stay at the royal residence? Yes, why? Liam asked, noticing Justin's uncomfortable expression. He smiled. What, you don't want to go? No, of course not. Justin waved his hands frantically. I just mean with my status, it's not appropriate for me to stay at the royal residence. Maybe I should just get a hotel? You can send me the address tomorrow, and I'll take a taxi myself. It had to be said, the Justin of today was a world away from his former self. He was even thinking about such things. Liam hadn't considered it, but now that he mentioned it, it did make sense. As they reached the car, and a guard opened the door, Anna turned to them. Liam spoke first. Princess Anna, how about this? Justin and I will get a hotel for tonight. We'll take a cab over tomorrow. It was one thing for Justin to stay in a hotel, but Liam wanted to go with him. Anna, knowing how much her father wanted to see Liam, grew anxious. What? You're not coming back? My father, I'll pay him a proper visit after this is all over, Liam interrupted gently. Justin looked surprised. Seeing Liam's firm stance, Anna couldn't argue. She nodded. All right then. You two take the car behind this one. I'll have the driver take you to a hotel. I'll go back first. I'll send you the address later, and I'll have a car pick you up tomorrow. A hotel arranged by Anna would undoubtedly be the safest. Liam had no reason to refuse. He nodded and gestured to the car behind them. Let's go. Okay. Thank you, Brother Liam. Justin smiled gratefully. After about an hour's drive, the car arrived at the Bulgari Hotel, one of the most famous in the country. The moment they pulled up, Justin was speechless at the sheer luxury of the place. Since Princess Anna had called ahead, the hotel staff had prepared 2 presidential suites for them. As they entered the lobby, several staff members immediately greeted them and led them to the elevator. The elevator ascended to the top floor. Located on the highest level of the Bulgari Hotel, the presidential suite featured massive floor-to-ceiling windows. From there, one could see the entire riverfront and a suspension bridge in the distance. The view was breathtaking. After settling in, Liam called the front desk for room service, ordering a meal for Justin's room as well. As he waited on the sofa, gazing out at the scenery, he felt a pang of loneliness for the first time. He pulled out his phone and started a video call with Cassandra. She answered quickly. Liam's face appeared on the screen, but Cassandra was nowhere in sight. Cassandra, where are you? Let's talk, he said, feeling a bit desperate. Oomph. I don't want to talk to you. Annie and Reese are playing with me. Her voice came through the phone, cool and distant, clearly resentful that he had left them. Liam could hear in her tone. Let me see the babies, he pleaded. If you're really worried, have your uncle arrange a plane and come over. I'm not going, Cassandra grumbled. Her face partially entered the frame. Her hair was messy, covering her eyes, but Liam could see them darting back and forth. He found it amusing. What are you looking at so intently? I'm not looking at you, she shot back, her entire face now in the frame. Her eyes scanned the background behind him, and her eyebrows shot up. You don't look like you're at the residence. This background, are you in a hotel? Her voice went from low to high, the last word rising in pitch as if she had uncovered a crucial clue. Her eyes widened. Liam glanced around, then picked up his phone and panned it around the room. I'm at a hotel. The Bulgari. Princess Anna arranged it. It's a presidential suite. It's pretty big. I feel a little lonely all by myself. You're dead if you dare let anyone else in there. Cassandra's shriek echoed from the phone. With the volume on max, Liam's eardrums nearly burst. He could hear her stomping her feet and could even picture her pacing frantically. Surprised that her mind went there, Liam couldn't help but laugh. My lady, are you serious? I'm here on official business. If I wasn't feeling lonely, why would I even call you? Cassandra snorted, putting her hands on her hips. All right. So, I'm just your entertainment when you've got nothing better to do, huh? You jerk. Her slender fingers were clenched, the veins on the back of her pale hand popping out. She threatened through gritted teeth. I'm warning you. Your precious children are in my hands. If you dare mess around, I'll throw them all into the Pacific Ocean. Don't. I was wrong. Am I that kind of guy? I was just joking. Liam's voice was laced with panic, a cold sweat breaking out on his brow. Damn it, he thought, she's got me completely wrapped around her finger. A triumphant little humph came from Cassandra's end of the video call, her face glowing with satisfaction. But just as quickly, her expression softened. She propped her chin on her hands, her fingers tracing the edge of her phone case as she looked into the camera. Actually, I'm so bored. It's just not the same when you're not here. Her voice was a soft, gentle murmur, a tone she rarely used, even when they were standing face to face. Liam's heart melted instantly. I'll be back soon, he said, his own voice softening. The trial's tomorrow. As soon as it's over, I'm coming home. Just one more day. Just one more day, he says. A day has 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. Okay, hold on a second. Liam's face was a mask of exasperation. I concede, you're the master of time, all right? Cassandra pouted, her cheeks puffing out. I'm not doing the math to show off, she snapped, but her tone immediately softened again, her eyes glistening as she looked into the camera. I miss you. The soft, vulnerable look was so different from her usual commanding presence. Liam felt as if a giant hand had squeezed his heart. Okay, he said, his voice now uncontrollably gentle. From now on, we stay on this video call. We can even fall asleep on the call together tonight. MHM. Cassandra nodded, her eyes red-rimmed. She picked up her phone and turned the camera toward their two babies. Oh, look, I just fed them. Annie and Julian are sleeping so soundly. She aimed the camera at Alara and Julian. The two little bundles were sleeping peacefully, their features already more defined than when they were newborns. You could already see the people they were becoming. Liam stared at the screen, murmuring Julian's eyes and eyebrows. They look just like yours. Of course they do, Cassandra said with a proud smile, glancing back at Liam through the screen. Everyone says boys look like their mothers and girls look like their fathers. She smirked. I have to say, I have pretty good taste. The father I picked out for Julian is quite handsome. Liam burst out laughing. Well, by that logic, the mother I found for Annie is a world-class beauty. Oomph. Cassandra sniffed, but a blush crept on her cheeks. They chatted like that late into the evening. Lying in bed, Liam found an angle for his phone, propping it up with a pillow so it was aimed at his face. He was about to turn off the light when he heard Cassandra's voice. Liam, don't turn it off. If you turn it off, I can't see you. She mumbled, her big eyes misty. Okay, I'll sleep with the light on tonight, he promised, then decided to sit up. You know what? I'm not going to sleep yet. I'll stay up with you. I'll sleep after you do, I promise. Okay. Cassandra nodded, looking surprisingly alert. Her thoughts then drifted. Liam, back then, when you first saw me, why didn't you save me? Liam answered honestly. At the time, I just thought it was better not to get involved. You know me, I hate sticking my nose in other people's business. Cassandra blinked. Oh, so, if you had saved me then, do you think, would we have had the story that came after? Not necessarily, Liam said with a smile. The fact that I ran into you on a rainy night like that means it was fate. And people brought together by fate don't just miss their chance over one little thing. That makes sense. Liam, are you sleepy? Not at all. Really? Really? Liam. She kept calling his name, asking all sorts of random, meandering questions, and he answered every single one without a hint of impatience. It wasn't until the deep silence of the night that the only sound from the other end of the line was the steady, rhythmic breathing of Cassandra, fast asleep. The next morning, Liam woke up early. Seeing that Cassandra was still asleep on the screen, he didn't disturb her. He simply turned off his camera, muted the call, and slipped the phone into his pocket. Justin, it seemed, was already up. At 8 o'clock sharp, just as they'd agreed, he knocked on Liam's door. "Brother Liam, are you awake?" Liam, having just finished washing up, pulled the door open. "It's still early. Let's go downstairs for breakfast before we head over," he suggested, glancing at the time. "Sounds good." Justin nodded, politely staying outside the room. He waited for a moment until Liam emerged with his jacket, then hurried to follow him. "Did you sleep well?" Liam asked with a smile as they rode the elevator down. "Oh yeah, absolutely." Justin nodded eagerly, but then his expression fell. "But I keep thinking about my sister, about how she's probably getting sentenced today. So good but not that good, you know?" It was a perfectly normal way to feel. Liam just smiled and said nothing more. As the elevator descended, Justin looked wistful. "Brother Liam, to be honest with you, looking back now, I feel like I was such a joke. It wasn't until I started working for real that I realized how hard it is to make money. And I used to expect my sister to set me up financially." Hearing Justin's confession, the corners of Liam's mouth turned up slightly. He remembered how Cassandra had never even mentioned a dowry or a financial settlement when she decided to marry him. Back then, he was practically broke, with nothing to his name except the seed money for Zenith Corp. And yet, Cassandra had dived in head first, without a moment's hesitation. "If a girl likes you enough to build a life with you, then you have to work hard for her," Liam said with a friendly smile, looking at the downcast young man. "You can't let her down, right?" Justin lifted his head, a new resolve hardening his dejected eyes. "Yeah, you're right, brother Liam. I'm going to work my ass off. Tina is taking a chance on me, and I'm lucky to have her." Liam smiled and let the subject drop. The two of them went to the second-floor restaurant of the Ritz-Carlton. After hearing their request, a waiter quickly led them to a VIP table by the window. Once seated, Liam casually ordered some breakfast and ate at a leisurely pace. The video call with Cassandra was still running. He took out his phone and looked at the screen, where she was still sleeping soundly. He felt a strange sense of playing a life simulation game. He propped the phone on the table in front of him, using a plate as a stand, and started eating. Beside him, Justin was a little baffled by Liam's actions, but didn't say anything. Soon after they finished breakfast, the car Princess Anna had sent arrived at the restaurant entrance. An hour later, the vehicle pulled up to the Royal Courts of Justice. The historic court was the largest in the UK, and it was only natural that a case involving the royal family would be held there. The magnificent architecture made Justin's eyes go wide. A bodyguard opened the car door, and Liam stepped out. He kept his phone in his pocket. Since he was in a special gallery, he wasn't required to hand it over. He and Justin were seated in the upper gallery on the second floor, with a perfect view of the proceedings below. They hadn't arrived particularly early, and the ground floor was already packed. When Princess Anna appeared, everyone rose to their feet. After a brief gesture to the crowd, she led Liam and the others upstairs. It was Justin's first time in such a solemn, formal place, and he was visibly nervous. Liam, however, was calm, his expression betraying nothing more than a bit of curiosity. "This trial has been going on for over 3 months. The evidence is overwhelming," Anna said, her gaze fixed on the floor below as she sat down across from Liam. She seemed hesitant to say more. "I assume the monarch pulled a lot of strings behind the scenes?" Liam asked, cutting straight to the point. He only wanted to know one thing: the final verdict. Anna gave him a deep, searching look. "To be honest, if it weren't for her family background, this is the kind of thing we could have settled privately. Natalie, she just has a bit of a temper." Liam found that laughable. His eyes darkened, and he said coolly, "Is that so? If someone hadn't noticed Jessica Fong show up that day, the person sitting in front of you right now would be a corpse." When he thought about it, he really had Evelyn Reed to thank. If it weren't for her constant vigilance in spotting Jessica at the royal residence, he and Cassandra would have been a tragic story buried 6 feet under. Liam's blunt words silenced Anna instantly. She gave him an apologetic look and said nothing more. The judicial panel entered below, and a solemn hush fell over the courtroom. After the judge recited the case details, the 3 defendants were brought in. Their faces were covered with black hoods, and each was flanked by 2 guards. If it weren't for their clothes, Liam wouldn't have been able to tell them apart. The one on the far left. That couldn't be my sister, could it? It had been so long since Justin had seen Jessica that he couldn't recognize her. He leaned forward and whispered anxiously to Liam. Liam frowned and shook his head. I can't tell either. Justin's expression tensed, and he leaned over the railing to get a better look. When the black hoods were removed, their faces were revealed in full. They were all old acquaintances he remembered well. On the far right was Ethan Vance. The once tall and elegant man was much thinner now. The grace was gone, his face gaunt, with massive dark circles under his eyes. The last few months had clearly aged him. In the middle was Natalie. She no longer had the air of a noblewoman, but given her royal status, it was clear she had been allowed to wear makeup and had been specially groomed. She seemed mentally stable, but there was a deep weariness in her eyes. And on the far left was Jessica Fong. If Ethan and Natalie could be described as haggard, Jessica was barely human. Without the protection of a royal background, the guards inside wouldn't have given her any special treatment. In just 3 short months, Jessica had been worn down to a shadow of her former self, a bundle of skin and bones. If not for the nameplate in front of her, even Justin wouldn't have recognized her. My sister, she. Seeing his own sister in such a state, Justin's eyes instantly turned red. But as the Chief Justice began reading out the charges, the tears receded. He covered his mouth with his hand, able to do nothing but sigh again and again. Anna looked uncomfortable as well. Her eyes flickered toward Liam, desperately hoping to find a hint of forgiveness in his expression, something that could lead to a letter of pardon. But she was quickly disappointed. Liam's face was impassive. He had already picked up the cup in front of him and was leisurely sipping his tea. Defendant Jessica Fong, guilty of intentional injury, illegal entry. With the slam of the gavel, the judge officially began to read the verdict. The solemn atmosphere of the courtroom was terrifying to Justin. At this point, it wasn't so much worry as it was the sheer weight of the environment. Justin had made plenty of mistakes in the past, but he'd always had his family to bail him out, and Liam had often helped clean up his messes. His troubles had always been minimized or erased entirely. But seeing this with his own eyes, Justin finally realized just how wrong he had been. Brother Liam, I was a real monster back then. If I hadn't changed, I'd probably be down there with my sister right now. Listening to Justin's muttered regrets, Liam's lips curved into a faint smile. In the end, 1,000 words of advice meant less than the pain of getting hit by the stone yourself. Bringing Justin along had been the right call. The cautionary effect was off the charts. Just be careful from now on, Liam said, watching Justin nod his head like a bobblehead. His eyes darkened. As long as it's not too great a sin, everyone has the right to turn their life around. Listening to the judge's sentencing below, he turned to Anna. Once the verdict is read, they'll be taken to serve their sentence, right? It still has to go through the Royal Judiciary Council, Anna replied honestly. It's different here than back home. She trailed off, then looked at Liam, a hesitant expression on her face. So if the entire council votes against it, the verdict is void? Liam was sharp enough to catch the key phrase. Who knew what kind of tricks the royal family might pull behind the scenes? Faced with Liam's question, Anna forced a bitter smile. You really don't miss a thing. But you can rest assured this time. The public outcry they caused was too great. It's not just us in here. This is being broadcast live. If it hadn't blown up in the beginning, we might have had a chance to intervene. But now, Anna's face was pale as she shook her head. With that assurance, the knot in Liam's chest finally loosened. He wasn't particularly interested in what happened next. Let them have their trial. He'd have his chat. He pulled out his phone. On the screen, Cassandra's big eyes were visible, seemingly playing on her own phone. He quickly connected his Bluetooth earbuds and typed, "You're awake?" The moment the message sent, he saw Cassandra's eyes blink a few times on screen. A second later, she replied, "Yeah, hey, I'm watching the live broadcast. You're supposed to be at the trial. How come I don't see you?" She held up her phone, staring at the broadcast for a long moment. Before Liam could reply, another message came through. "Don't tell me you ran off somewhere else again. Oh, I see how it is, Liam. You dare to lie to me. Just wait until you get back. I'm going to deal with you." The messages popped up like machine gun fire. Liam stared at the words he had just typed out. "Have you eaten? I'm on the second floor," and fell silent. He really needed to work on his typing speed. He couldn't even keep up with her replies. He quickly sent his message, then added another. "My lady, is our trust level really the size of a sesame seed?" Visibly on the screen, a smile blossomed on Cassandra's face. Stelomar Island. In the early spring, Stelomar Island located off the coast of Western Europe, was a perfect tourist destination with its temperate maritime climate. From the moment spring began, cruise ships arrived one after another in a constant stream. Chloe Xia and Riley Thorne were the first to arrive. As soon as Liam left for the UK to attend the trial, they followed his instructions and began planning the wedding on the island. Hearing that the island had a new owner, the proprietor of the Stelomar Grand Hotel, the largest on the island, warmly welcomed Chloe and Riley. How about the cliffside? It has a perfect view of the ocean. We have a local tradition here. At noon sharp, we set off a ceremonial cannon, the hotel owner suggested with a smile. Chloe hesitated for a moment, frowning. A cliff has bad connotations. We're a bit superstitious about these things. That's true, Riley nodded. What happened last time was on a cliff. It's probably best to avoid it. Well, the only other good spot is the beach, the owner said honestly. The beach would work, but you'll have to book a time in advance. We have a lot of tourists coming in lately, and it would be hard to negotiate if schedules clash. The people who came to Stelomar Island were all wealthy and influential. After all, the scenery was beautiful, and it was a prime vacation spot. Scheduling was always a delicate balance. That's no problem. We'll take a look at the place first, Chloe said, then turned to call Liam. Ring, ring. The phone rang a few times and then disconnected. Chloe pouted. Honestly, I don't know what brother is doing. His line has been busy all morning. The trial probably doesn't allow phones, so brother-in-law must have his on Do Not Disturb, Riley reasoned. Chloe, let's go with the owner to check out the beach. We can take some pictures for later. Good idea. Back at the trial, Liam was on his phone, watching Cassandra eat, when he heard Justin's quiet murmur beside him. Brother Liam, can I see my sister privately later? I just heard the verdict. She got 50 years. I probably won't have another chance to come abroad and see her in my lifetime. The UK didn't have a death penalty, but sentences were stacked. And it was true. Without Liam bringing him here, Justin would never have had the money to travel internationally. But this mattered. Liam's gaze shifted to Anna. You can, she said. I can request a family visit, but only once. Thank you, Justin said quickly. The trial concluded around noon. As arranged by Anna, Liam and Justin followed the prison transport vehicle. When they reached the visitation room, Jessica was brought out as promised. Liam, as a chaperone, was also present on the other side of the room. Separated by a glass partition, Justin finally saw his sister, Jessica Fawn. The light was completely gone from Jessica's eyes. She stared at the floor, her long hair hanging loosely over her shoulders. It was obvious she had suffered a great deal. Justin sighed, picked up the phone on the glass wall, and called out, Sis. As if finally hearing a familiar voice, Jessica looked up, stunned. When she saw Justin, a film of moisture instantly covered her eyes. But then, her gaze shifted. In the corner behind Justin, she saw a figure who looked an awful lot like Liam, sitting and playing on his phone. Instantly, she completely fell apart. Liam. The name was practically squeezed from between her teeth. Jessica's eyes were locked on the corner of the visitation room. Liam didn't even look up. He was on his Bluetooth earbuds, chatting with Cassandra. Where's Annie? Why can't I see Annie? Liam asked, a little anxiously, seeing only his little son Julian gurgling on the screen. Mom and the others took her play, Cassandra replied, scooping up Julian. She looked at Liam, slightly annoyed. What? Not happy to see your son? All you think about all day is your daughter. Well, daughters are sweet and soft. Who wouldn't love that? Liam's brow relaxed. He stared at Julian, who was grinning foolishly at the camera. He looks like he's gotten bigger. He has. I'm telling you, kids grow up so fast. It's only been a little over a month, and Julian's already starting to grow hair. Look. At this, Cassandra got excited. She stroked Julian's bald little head and pushed it toward the camera, showing off the spar sprouts. Liam, why won't you look at me? You know you've done something wrong, don't you? Look at me, you coward. On the other side of the glass, Jessica was screaming into the phone, but only Justin could hear her. He moved his lips, looked at his sister, and said with difficulty, Sis, can you please look at me? Justin's emotions were a tangled mess. He had traveled so far just to see his sister one last time. He felt a pang of pity seeing her so gaunt, but her first words had left him speechless. Justin, it was Liam who did this to me. Him and that bitch. They teamed up to put me in here. Jessica cried, clawing at the glass as if it were a lifeline, her voice a desperate shriek. Following the direction of her finger, Justin glanced back at Liam, who was staring at his phone with a goofy, doting smile. Justin fell silent. Justin, you have to get revenge for me. I'm your sister. Liam ruined me. And now he shows up here just to mock me. You have to get revenge for me. Jessica's screams echoed through the phone. Justin paused for a long moment, then said flatly, "Sis, Brother Liam is the one who brought me here. He brought you here to laugh at me. How can you still call him Brother Liam? Does he deserve it?" Seeing his sister in such a crazed state, Justin's face twisted in anguish. He forced the words out. "Sis, do you really think I could be here without a visa or any savings? Are you listening to yourself? If it weren't for Brother Liam, do you honestly think you and I would be seeing each other right now?" Justin couldn't hold it in anymore. He had imagined this reunion so many times, always assuming his sister would have realized her mistakes. He never, ever thought she would be this far gone. His words hit Jessica like a bolt of lightning. Her eyes flew wide. "Justin, you're taking his side. I'm your sister. So what if you're my sister?" Justin finally broke. "Sis, have you forgotten that you took all the money from our home, racked up a mountain of debt in Mom and Dad's names, and caused Mom to have a stroke? Mom and Dad are divorced now. Have you ever thought in all these years about what you've actually contributed to this family?" Justin's hysterical voice echoed through the visitation room. On the phone screen, Liam saw Cassandra frown and glanced over with a flicker of annoyance. "You're at the visitation room too?" Cassandra's voice came through his earbuds. "Yeah," Liam replied. Justin wanted to see his sister. "They're talking through the glass right now." He glanced at the tense scene on the other side of the room. "If it's too loud, I can step outside to talk." "No need," Cassandra muttered. "Just stay there. It's not like anything's happening, right?" She cradled Julian, rocking him gently. "Oh, by the way, Mom said something yesterday about a party in a few days. She really wants me to go with her. Do you think I should?" "A party?" Liam was surprised. "Yeah, she says an all-girls thing. I've never been to one. My mom goes all the time. She said she wants to bring She with her this time." Cassandra's eyes sparkled. She was clearly interested. But that wasn't what concerned Liam. He was focused on something else. "Why are you still calling her She? Shouldn't you have changed how you address her by now?" A small smile played on his lips as he stared into the camera. Instantly, Cassandra's cheeks flushed red. She stammered for a moment before finally managing, "Well, that's what I call her in person. She is very nice. She hasn't said anything about it." "I see." Liam's eyes darkened. He stroked his chin, thinking that they really did need to get the wedding sorted out soon. It had been so long, and Cassandra still hadn't changed how she addressed his mother. And he hadn't heard her call him husband yet. Liam raised an eyebrow and casually brought it up. "You should go. I'm not there, and you must be bored at home. Go have some fun. Besides," he said, deliberately emphasizing the next word, "my wife is so beautiful. You don't even need to dress up to outshine everyone there." But Cassandra acted as if she hadn't heard him. Aside from her blushing cheeks, her expression was as proud as ever. "Oomph. Of course. I know I'm beautiful. You really lucked out, kid," she grumbled, then suddenly seemed flustered. "Anyway, I'm not talking to you anymore. I have to take Julian out to get some sun. Just hurry back." With that, she hastily hung up. She touched her cheek, the heat spreading through her palm. She was pretty sure she hadn't misheard. Liam had called her his wife. "Sis!" A shout preceded Riley Thorne, who burst into the room without even knocking. Cassandra's expression froze, her face turning instantly cold. The atmosphere solidified. Riley stood awkwardly in the doorway, forcing a nervous laugh. "Have I or have I not told you to knock before coming into my room?" Cassandra's voice was icy, laced with an impatient fire. Riley snapped to attention. Mom asked me to get you to come downstairs," she explained quickly. It was urgent." Cassandra shot her a cold glare, then turned back to Julian. "What did Mom want?" "Probably to talk about that high society tea party in a few days," Riley said with a sheepish grin, scratching the back of her head. Her eyes landed on the phone in front of Cassandra, and a glint appeared in her eye. "Sis, were you just on the phone with brother-in-law?" she asked, blinking with a knowing, teasing smile. A flicker of nervousness crossed Cassandra's face, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. Her voice was sharp. "Mind your own business." Seeing the lingering blush on her sister's face, Riley knew everything. She sniffed and muttered under her breath. "Such a double standard. You're so meek when brother-in-law is around, but you only know how to yell at me when he's not." Her voice was as quiet as a mosquito's buzz, but her moving lips were undeniable. Cassandra saw it and knew her sister wasn't saying anything good. Her eyes turned dark, her lips curling into a perfect arc. "What was that? Say it so I can hear." Riley, who was used to her sister's cold face, was completely thrown by the smile. She blurted out, "I said you're two different people, depending on whether brother-in-law is here or not." "Oh, is that so?" Cassandra narrowed her eyes, her smile disturbingly pleasant. "You've gotten brave lately, Riley. To say something like that out loud. Very impressive." Seeing her sister smile and mistaking it for a good mood, Riley immediately puffed out her chest. Of course, I've always been impressive. For some reason, after saying that, Riley felt the atmosphere turn frigid. Her sister was smiling, but a chill ran down her spine and goosebumps erupted all over her skin. No way, she thought. My sister never smiles when she's angry. This can't be anger, right? Riley muttered to herself, knowing she needed to get out of there. Well, sis, if there's nothing else, I'll just... The holidays are over. Tomorrow, I'll inform Evelyn. You'll be at Zenith Corp by 8 a.m. sharp. Remember to be on time for work. Before Riley could finish, Cassandra's voice cut in. She was still smiling, but her tone was a hard, unyielding command. It was as if defiance would be met with a slap. A sharp shriek escaped Riley's lips. No way, sis. Why do I have to work? I haven't had enough fun yet. I will be freezing your black card, and I will instruct Evelyn that your monthly salary will depend on your position. Beyond that, do not expect to get a single cent from anyone. Cassandra maintained her smile as she delivered the cruel facts. This little sister of hers was getting far too bold. Never imagining that simply delivering a message would lead to such a disastrous outcome, Riley's heart sank. She immediately put on a pitiful face, clasping her hands together and begging, Sis, I was wrong. Get out. One simple word. Cassandra didn't waste any more. If she stayed any longer, she might lose the job altogether. Realizing her sister was furious, Riley deflated like a punctured balloon and slunk out of the room, looking utterly wronged. She knew her sister was a woman of her word. Once she said something, there was absolutely no turning back. But, wait, when did her sister become a smiling tiger? Humph. Closing the bedroom door behind her, Riley raised a small fist and mouthed a complaint at the closed door. What terrible luck. Why was her life so miserable? And now she knew why her brother-in-law's line had been busy. With a dejected face, Riley trudged downstairs. Meanwhile, in the visitation room, hearing the beep-beep-beep of the disconnected call, Liam couldn't help but chuckle. He had to admit, teasing his wife was occasionally fun. Seeing Cassandra's face turn as red as a cherry while her attitude remained so defiant was just too amusing. Ignoring the ongoing conversation between Justin and Jessica, he opened his chat with Chloe and sent a message. Liam, is everything ready? Chloe replied almost instantly. Chloe, almost. There's still a few things to buy. Riley just went out. She still needs to contact the wedding dress designer. Chloe, oh, by the way, brother, I have a few business cards for wedding designers that Riley gave me. Take a look. Which one should we contact? Looking at the image Chloe sent, Liam tapped on a picture showcasing a bold, glamorous style. Liam, this one. Her style seems like a good fit for Cassandra. Chloe, okay. In the visitation room, no matter what Justin said, Jessica's eyes remained locked on Liam in the corner. When she saw the occasional smile flicker across his face, she bristled like a cornered animal and clutched her head. Arg, is he laughing at me? Justin, did you bring any makeup? Give it to me. I need to put on makeup. I can't let him see me like this. No, it must be because I'm not dressed up that he's not paying attention to me. If I just put on makeup and an expensive dress, he'll definitely go back to how he used to be with me. She shrieked, then suddenly pressed herself against the glass, screaming desperately. Justin, didn't you say he's been in love with me for years? He must just be angry with me. Tell him I was wrong, that I'm willing to be with him now. Tell him. Seeing Jessica completely lose her composure, shrieking like a madwoman behind the glass, Justin sighed. He knew his sister was gone. There was no way to have a normal conversation with her anymore. Looking at her twisted face, Justin sighed again. Sis, it's come to this. There's nothing more to say. I just hope you could be a better person in your next life. With that, he gritted his teeth and hung up the phone. No matter how much Jessica screamed on the other side, Justin didn't look back. He rose silently and walked over to Liam. Brother Liam, let's go back. His voice was heavy. Liam, who had just finished chatting with Chloe, looked up sharply. He saw Justin's reddened eyes and glanced over at Jessica, being restrained by two guards. The situation was clear. Yeah, let's go. Liam didn't say much more. He knew that some people's time was up. But after what had happened with Penelope Hamilton, he had come to terms with this kind of thing. He no longer felt the initial shock or sadness. It was Justin's first time experiencing this, however, so it was natural for him to be upset. On the way back to the hotel, Justin was silent. It wasn't until the car stopped at the hotel entrance that Liam finally spoke. Justin, I have to go take care of something. A plane will come to pick you up tomorrow. Just follow their instructions. Brother Liam, you're not coming back with me? Justin was startled, a wave of anxiety washing over him. He was in an unfamiliar country and knew no one but Liam. The thought of Liam leaving early made him nervous. That's right. I have other business to attend to, so I won't be heading back just yet. Don't worry. I'll explain the situation to Princess Anna. She'll handle your flight back, Liam reassured him, knowing exactly what he was worried about. Knowing that this goodbye would likely be their last, Justin nodded. Before leaving, he bowed deeply to Liam. Brother Liam, thank you. Liam waved his hand out the car window. As the car pulled away, he caught a glimpse of Justin's bowing figure in the rearview mirror and smiled. The Stanton estate. Returning to the familiar grounds, Liam watched the gardeners bustling about. His car stopped in front of the main villa. Haley Lou, who was sunbathing on a chaise lounge on the first-floor terrace, spotted him immediately. Huh, Mr. Lynn, what are you doing back so suddenly? Apparently unprepared for anyone's return, Haley was bundled up in a thick cotton robe, looking like a giant teddy bear. The sight made Liam chuckle. You're certainly taking it easy, aren't you? Already on vacation. Haley gave an awkward laugh. Well, Miss Thorne left me here to be the temporary house manager, and there's usually not much to do. So, I was just slacking off a bit. She even winked at Liam, her expression fawning. Mr. Lynn, please don't tell Miss Thorne, okay? If she finds out I've been slacking this much, she'll dock my pay again. Liam was silent for a moment, his gaze sweeping over the vast estate. He asked casually, if I remember correctly, the deed to this estate was changed to my name, wasn't it? Not catching his meaning, Haley nodded vigorously. That's right. You remember, the last time Miss Thorne brought you back, the ownership was transferred then. So, my house manager is slacking off in my house, and I'm supposed to help cover for her. Liam raised an eyebrow, questioning her. The realization finally dawning on her, Haley's eyes went wide. She quickly backed away a few steps, tried to placate him. No, that's not what I meant. It's just that you're so much nicer than Miss Thorne, so I... The words sounded wrong, even to her own ears. This was her boss's husband, bad-mouthing her boss right in front of him. Wasn't that just asking for trouble? Seeing Haley's face turn ashen, Liam, who was in an excellent mood, couldn't help but laugh out loud. Thinking back to all the grief he'd endured when he first met Cassandra, he could truly appreciate what her maids and assistants went through. No wonder they all treated him like their savior. So, Mr. Lynn, your sudden return today is because... Haley quickly changed the subject, her eyes darting around. Liam, of course, had no intention of holding it against her. I came back to get something, he said with a smile, and I'll be staying the night. Understood. I'll have them prepare dinner for you right away. Haley nodded quickly and practically fled from his sight. Watching her scurry away, Liam began to understand why Cassandra only kept Evelyn by her side. With a personality like Haley's and his wife's temper, there would be arguments every other day. He returned to the bedroom he had shared with Cassandra. Nothing much had changed. It was still the same as before. The room held so many memories that just looking at it brought a wave of nostalgia. Liam sat down on the sofa with a sigh and pulled out his phone to call Chloe. Brother, you're already at the Stanton estate? Chloe's eyes widened on the video call as she recognized the familiar background. Yeah, I'm staying here tonight. Tell that designer, if it's convenient, to take the earliest flight over here tomorrow, Liam instructed. No problem. I just spoke with her. She's actually in the UK right now. If you're available, she can head over immediately. Liam's eyes lit up. That's perfect. Have her come now. A second later, Riley's scrunched-up face appeared on the screen, her expression full of grievance. Brother-in-law, you have to be the judge here. What's wrong? Liam was stunned. It had only been a moment, but Riley's eyes were already swollen. On the screen, Riley wiped the corner of her eye. My sister, she whined. She's making me go to work tomorrow. Liam, who thought something serious had happened, felt the corner of his mouth twitch. On this matter, he was 100% on his wife's side. Isn't that a good thing? He asked. Good? What's good about it? My sister is being so unreasonable. She froze my card and said I can't spend money recklessly anymore, that I have to live off my salary. Riley wailed. A pampered heiress like her had never suffered such an injustice. Tears actually started to well up in her eyes. Next to her, Chloe chimed in with a look of dawning realization. So that's it. Riley, you've been moping around ever since you came downstairs. It was because of this. Her car being frozen was a form of torture for Riley. Looking at Riley's tear-streaked face, Liam wasn't feeling sympathy. He was just curious what she could have possibly said to make his wife this angry. Well, Riley Thorne, I was wondering where you went. So you ran off to tattle to your brother-in-law, did you? Before Liam could respond, Cassandra's sharp voice erupted from the other end of the line. The shout made Chloe's phone wobble and fall to the floor with a clatter. On screen, Liam only caught a flash of Cassandra's black leather shoes before he heard Riley's desperate pleas. Sis, I was wrong, sis. I'll never do it again, boo-hoo. He didn't hear any hitting, just the sounds of pure terror. Liam could practically picture Cassandra's furious expression on the other end. That scene. Yikes. He couldn't help but suck in a breath. Oh my God, bro, it's terrifying. Chloe's voice came through, and Liam saw that she was now standing in the hallway, whispering. You have no idea. Sis-in-law's expression just now was like a demon's. Thank God, I ran fast enough. How could I not know? Liam had seen those fiery eyes more times than he could count. Honestly, he was used to it. Besides, it wasn't happening to him, so he wasn't in any hurry. In fact, he was rather enjoying the show. Chloe, point the camera over there. I want to see your sister-in-law's face. Liam urged, holding back a laugh. Hearing this, Chloe shrugged, her face a mask of fear. Are you trying to get me killed, bro? Sis-in-law looks like she's about to eat someone. I'm not going near there. What's there to be afraid of? You're my sister. Your sister-in-law should be trying to win you over. You're not scared she'll yell at you too, are you? Liam was biting his lip to keep from laughing. Besides, she's mad at Riley, not you. Trust me, just go point the camera over there and let me see what's going on. As if finding some logic in his words, Chloe thought for a moment, then asked uncertainly, for real? If sis-in-law finds out, she really won't get mad at me. I'm your brother. Would I lie to you? That seemed to settle it for her. Chloe nodded, convinced. Fine. You wait right there, bro. She tiptoed to the doorway, cracked it open, and slipped the phone through the gap. Then she peeked through, whispering, Bro, can you see clearly? On Liam's screen, he could see Cassandra in her black leather shoes, her face cold as she stared down Riley. She had even put on lipstick, a fiery red that contrasted with her icy expression. Across from her, Riley stood with her arms wrapped around herself, head bowed low, looking utterly pitiful. Even through the screen, Liam could feel how frigid the air in that room was. This was his wife's style, all right. This is brutal, bro. Thank God I'm your sister. If I were Riley, I'd probably be on my knees by now. Chloe's whispered commentary was a mix of pity and schadenfreude. But in the next second, did I give you permission to peek? Chloe, Xia, you get in here too. A sharp roar echoed through the phone. Chloe jumped, and with another clatter, the phone hit the floor again. Don't think you're safe just because your brother's on your side. The two of you are really something, aren't you? Not only do you dare to defy me, but you also tattle behind my back. Uffed. On his end of the call, Liam couldn't hold it in anymore and burst out laughing. I'm warning you. As long as I'm alive, I will always be your boss. Even your brother has to listen to me. Cassandra's voice was filled with a rage that seemed to have been simmering for a long time. Chloe, Xia, starting today, your card is gone too, and your brother can't do a thing about it. I've said it. Listening to Cassandra's furious voice on the other end, Liam finally broke down and laughed out loud. The call was abruptly disconnected. A moment later, his phone rang with a call from the wedding dress designer. Hello, is this Mr. Lin? A woman's voice asked. Liam cleared his throat. Yes, this is he. Oh, hello, Mr. Lin. My name is Grace Montgomery. I'm the wedding dress designer contacted by Miss Xia. She said you're currently in the UK and asked me to get in touch. Is now a convenient time for me to come see you? Grace's voice was audibly nervous. When her assistant had first received the call from Chloe, she thought it was a scam. But after hearing the full story and the name, Liam, Grace had practically snatched the phone from her assistant's hand. It was the Thorne family wedding, for crying out loud. And Liam was a huge celebrity online. Although her reputation was such that she didn't need to take on new clients who would turn down the chance to add such a prestigious event to their portfolio. Not to mention, Liam had just gone viral a few days ago for having a private concert with A-list international stars in his own home. To be invited to design a wedding dress for someone of that stature was a once-in-a-lifetime honor. Yes, that's fine. I'm at the Stanton estate right now. How should I send you the location? Liam replied. Oh, Mr. Lin, is your phone number connected to your WhatsApp? I can add you as a contact, and you could send me the location that way. Grace suggested, her voice tight with nerves. That works. Liam nodded and hung up. A moment later, a notification popped up on WhatsApp, and Liam quickly accepted the friend request. Thinking that he had to keep this a secret from Cassandra, he simply saved her name as a new contact. Once the request was accepted, he sent the location. Grace quickly replied with an OK emoji. While waiting for Grace to arrive, Haley had already prepared dinner for Liam. As he ate, he scrolled through the wedding dress design sketches Grace had sent. She was truly a professional. She had even factored in the venue's background. Aside from a few colorful options, the main themes were divided into two categories: a traditional Western wedding and a grand, historical-themed one. Thinking back to the Western-style wedding Cassandra had organized while he was gone, Liam felt that a more classical, grand ceremony would be more beautiful this time. As he was eating, Liam saw a crying emoji pop up from Chloe, accompanied by text. Bro, you set me up? Chloe, who said sis-in-law wouldn't yell at me? This is all your fault. She just said she's going to freeze my car too. Chloe, bro, are you even on our side? I'm your sister. How could you trick us like that? Chloe had sent 2 voice notes, which Liam didn't bother listening to, simply using the speech-to-text feature. Reading her accusations, the smile he had been suppressing returned to his face. He put down his fork and knife and typed a few words on a screen. How could I be blamed for that? I had no idea. Chloe, you dare say you had no idea? I don't believe you. You did it on purpose to trick me. Liam, a misunderstanding, a total misunderstanding. How could I trick you? You're my sister. Chloe, Chloe, you jerk. Be careful, or Riley and I will spill the beans. Then we'll see how you surprise sis-in-law. Seeing the latest message, Liam raised an eyebrow. Oh, so now they were threatening him? With a smirk, Liam replied. Is that so? Well, if you two get on my bad side, who's going to bail you out in the future? Seconds passed after he sent the message, but Chloe didn't reply. It seemed she was genuinely considering his words. Seeing no new messages, Liam switched out of the chat and went back to eating and looking at wedding dress designs. On the other side of the world, Chloe sighed as she looked at Riley's red, puffy eyes. It's no use. We can't afford to make my brother mad. If we piss him off, it's not just you who's finished. I'm done for 2. Riley, her eyes swollen, looked furious. I just don't get it. I never realized my sister was so devious. Chloe, do you know she talks to me with a smile on her face now? I thought everything was fine, but then... She probably learned it from my brother. Chloe's face paled, and she sighed in resignation. Forget it, Riley. At least my brother can still help us out. When you start working, if you're short on cash, just let me know. I'll secretly help you out. Riley was so moved, she nearly burst into tears. Thank you so much, Chloe. At the Stanton estate, Grace Montgomery arrived punctually just as Liam finished his dinner. She got out of the car with an assistant, who was pulling 2 large suitcases, and they walked briskly into the villa. Although she had seen pictures of Liam online, seeing him in person still made Grace's eyes light up. Mr. Lynn, you're even more handsome than your photos, she couldn't help but exclaim. Seeing that Grace was at least 20 years his senior, Liam smiled humbly. You're too kind, Ms. Montgomery. Please come in. Thank you. Grace smiled and followed Liam inside, her eyes scanning the villa. She didn't see the lady of the house. Grace paused, then asked Mr. Lynn, where's your wife? Oh, she's back home, Liam explained. I came here by myself this time. Grace understood immediately and smiled. I see. You're preparing a surprise for your wife, Mr. Lynn. You two have such a wonderful relationship. Liam scratched his head, slightly embarrassed. He instructed Haley to serve tea, and Grace promptly took out several sample sketches. Mr. Lynn, these are a few styles for the grand, traditional ceremony you've planned. I brought samples of the actual gown styles, but they're just mock-ups. We will need the ladies' measurements. Liam already knew this. He had discussed it with Haley, who, after years of being by Cassandra's side, knew her measurements perfectly. As did he, of course. Cassandra had given birth, and while her figure hadn't fully returned to its previous state, sizing up 1 or 2 sizes from her original measurements would be more than enough. Liam's gaze fell on the sketches. They were all standard designs for a grand, traditional wedding, each one in a magnificent red. A phoenix coronet and an elaborate cape were, of course, included. But, looking at the extravagant designs, Liam frowned. Ms. Montgomery, this coronet and cape. They would have to be crafted from pure gold, wouldn't they? Mr. Lynn, you have excellent taste, Grace Montgomery exclaimed, gesturing to the opulent display. These are all solid gold. The ornamentation you see is both decorative and symbolic. She trailed off, noticing the hesitation on Liam's face. A knot formed in Grace's stomach. Surrounded by the splendor of the Thorne estate, she had a sudden, sinking thought. With a family this wealthy, surely Mr. Lynn wasn't worried about the cost? The idea felt absurd as soon as it formed, but she couldn't very well ask him that. Just as Grace was about to suggest more affordable alternatives, Liam spoke. If they're all solid gold, I'm worried they'll be too heavy, he said, his voice echoing in the grand hall. My wife is petite. I don't want her to be weighed down. Grace felt a flush of embarrassment. Her assumptions had been so crass. Of course, that was his concern. What had she been thinking? They're indeed a bit heavy. Grace recovered quickly. But we can design a palanquin for the ceremony. Your wife would only need to get out for the main vows. Oh, that's an option. Liam nodded, satisfied. He pulled out his phone and showed Grace a photo of Cassandra. These are my wife's measurements. What style do you think would suit her? Grace took the phone, though she'd already taken mental notes on the drive over. Without hesitation, She pointed to the third design. I believe this red ceremonial gown would be perfect. And for you, Mr. Lin, a complimentary gold suit. I will have a set prepared for you as well. Good. I'll leave it in your hands, Liam agreed. From then on, everything was delegated to Grace. She promptly moved her entire operation to the Stanton estate, where Haley Lou had already arranged for a suite of rooms to serve as her dedicated studio. As dusk began to settle, Liam returned to his room and called Cassandra. The moment the call connected, her voice, dripping with sarcasm, came through. Well, look who remembers he has a wife. I was beginning to think you'd forgotten all about me. Liam chuckled. How could I? I just dropped Justin off at his hotel and got back to the Stanton estate. You're back at the estate. Cassandra's tone shifted. She leaned closer to the camera, her eyes scanning the familiar background behind him. Following her gaze, Liam felt a wave of nostalgia. Yeah, it's strange being back. I feel like the whole place still smells like you. Oomph. You're just full of sweet talk, Cassandra grumbled, though a faint blush colored her cheeks. If I hadn't already promised Mom I'd go to that party with her tomorrow, I'd have Evelyn prep the jet right now. She'd almost forgotten about the Stanton estate until he mentioned it. They'd shared so many memorable moments there. It's fine, you're busy, Liam said gently. If you want to see it, I can call you every day and give you a tour. He turned the camera toward the grounds. Look, Cassandra, spring is here. The flower buds in the garden are about to burst. I bet they'll be in full bloom in a few days. Through the screen, Cassandra saw the sprawling gardens. She murmured, I think you're right. I remember last year around this time, it was just the beginning of fall. It wasn't nearly this beautiful. Time flies, doesn't it? She added, her voice full of emotion. Liam smiled, his voice soft. Yeah, time. It really does fly. I've contacted Stelomar Island, Princess Anna said over the phone, just as the wedding preparations were kicking into high gear. Father wants to know when would be a good time for us to head over. Liam glanced at the calendar. April 7th. I already picked it out as an auspicious day for the wedding. Perfect. We'll plan to arrive on the 5th then. That gives us time to see if you need anything else. Father, and I can help you take care of it. With that, Anna hung up. Liam stared at his phone, a new message from Cassandra glowing on the screen. He sank into thought. He'd come here for a court hearing, and 2 weeks had somehow evaporated. Cassandra hadn't been pressing him, but he could read between the lines of her texts. She missed him, and this morning's message was anything but subtle. The babies are almost walking. The subtext was clear. When are you coming home? He opened their chat and typed, Cassandra, something's come up over here. I need you to come and bring the babies. Her reply was instantaneous. What happened? You'll see when you get here. I've already talked to Chloe and the others. They'll fly with you. Tell me what's going on. Just come. You'll find out. Stop asking so many questions. It was rare for Liam to be so evasive. His refusal to explain sent a jolt of worry through Cassandra. She immediately summoned Chloe. All right, spill it, Cassandra demanded. Her eyes narrowed. Where on earth did your brother run off to? And why has he been gone so long? Don't tell me he got himself kidnapped. Facing Cassandra's interrogation, Chloe visibly shrank. Sister-in-law, my brother. I don't really know, she stammered. Maybe he really did run into some kind of trouble. Cassandra's brow shot up, her voice tight with alarm. What kind of trouble? Be specific. Do I need to send in the Thorn security team? I really don't know. He didn't tell me anything. I guess. We'll just have to go and see for ourselves. Chloe was so nervous, she was practically tripping over her tongue. If Liam hadn't told her this was all a surprise for Cassandra, she wouldn't have had to put on this terrible act. Seeing that Chloe genuinely seemed to be in the dark, Cassandra issued a command. Fine. Have Evelyn prep the jet for tonight. You and Riley get your things packed. We're leaving as soon as possible. Yes, ma'am. Chloe breathed a sigh of relief. With Caleb and Catherine having already left Maplewood Manor, it had just been her and Riley at the estate for the past few days. Packing was easy. Cassandra was in such a rush that Evelyn had the flight plan filed immediately, and they were on the first available plane out. On board, Cassandra stared anxiously out the window, surprisingly not asking about their destination. Seeing her preoccupied, Evelyn and the others finally relaxed. Evelyn, you've got everything handled, right? Riley whispered. This flight is going to Stelomar Island, correct? Yes. Thank God she didn't ask where we were flying. Evelyn murmured back. I don't think I could have come up with a convincing lie. That's good, that's good. Once we land, we can all breathe easy, Chloe added with a grin. Brother Liam should have everything set up by then. When we get to Stelomar Island, it's not our problem anymore. He can be the one to deal with her. What is Liam playing at? The moment they stepped off the plane, Cassandra was greeted by a breathtaking ocean vista. She shot a suspicious look at Chloe and the others. I thought you said we were going to the Stanton estate. Where's this? She scanned the surroundings. They were clearly on an island. Her brow furrowed. Don't tell me this is Stelomar Island. Riley shot Chloe a panicked glance, who quickly shoved her forward. Pushed in front of Cassandra, Chloe forced a nervous laugh. Sister-in-law, just come with us. Cassandra's frown deepened. To where? Oh, come on, you'll see. Chloe chirped, grabbing Cassandra's arm. Riley immediately started pushing from behind. Surrounded, Cassandra was herded towards Stelomar Island's only scenic hotel. The entrance was festooned with lights and decorations. Her eyes widened. It couldn't be. She was still muttering to herself when several women in vibrant dresses emerged from the hotel. Behind them, her mother, Catherine, was beaming from ear to ear. Cassandra, hurry, over here. Catherine waved, a wide grin on her face. Now you know why your father and I had to leave early, don't you? You all. Cassandra was stunned. The thought that had just flickered through her mind solidified, and a flash of annoyance crossed her face. You gotta be kidding me. You all conspired to keep this from me? Something this huge, and you didn't say a word. Liam wanted it to be a surprise. Catherine laughed, linking arms with her daughter. Come on, your father is with Liam. I'll take you to get your makeup done and change. Even if it's a surprise, you can't just do this. Cassandra grumbled, but when she saw the large, decorative characters for double happiness hanging in the hotel lobby, a deep blush spread across her cheeks. Though she feigned reluctance, her heart was soaring. Escorted by the group, Cassandra took the elevator to the dressing suite. In the center of the room, a mannequin matching her proportions was draped in a fiery red wedding gown. The fabric was exquisite, intricately woven with gold thread. It hit her instantly. This was the traditional ceremony Liam was giving her. Her cheeks flushed crimson as a makeup artist guided her to a vanity. In the suite next door, Liam was already dressed in an ornate, embroidered robe and a cap adorned with crimson tassels. His tall frame seemed even more imposing. Leo, standing beside him, looked decidedly plain in comparison. Liam, man, I'm not kidding. Whoever designed this is a genius, Leo said, clapping him on the shoulder, his expression one of pure awe. This outfit looks incredible on you. If I wore it, I'd probably make it look cheap, huh? Caleb Thorne, standing nearby, nodded in agreement, giving Liam a thumbs up. Not bad at all. You look the part. That's the son-in-law I chose. The praise from the two men made Liam a little bashful. He scratched his head and grinned. Never mind that. Mr. Thorne. Leo, have you seen the dress I picked for Cassandra? The women's dressing room? What are two guys like us going to do over there? Leo said, scratching his head sheepishly. Caleb didn't answer the question. Instead, he frowned. Liam, it's about time you change how you address me. It's the wedding day, and you're still calling me Mr. Thorne. Well, it's not time for the formal address change yet, Liam said, scratching his head, a little embarrassed. We'll do that after the vows, right? Caleb's expression remained stern. You rascal, honestly. The dress should be perfect for her, Liam said, changing the subject. Mr. Thorne, Leo, shouldn't we be heading out? I think it's about time. In a typical wedding, this would be the part where the groom would arrive in a grand procession to fetch the bride. But this was a makeup ceremony and on a private island, so things were simplified. Still, the essential traditions couldn't be skipped. And with modern technology, even on a small island, the bride-fetching procession was possible. Caleb clapped his hands together, a broad smile on his face. The drones are all ready to go. We're just waiting for your signal, Liam. All right. Thank you, Mr. Thorne. Liam nodded gratefully. Caleb looked at him, a wave of emotion washing over him. If his old friend, Victor Lynn, were still alive to see his son marrying his daughter, he would have been overjoyed. Liam had no father. Though Caleb was his father-in-law, he had long since treated Liam as his own son. Today, even as he was giving his daughter away, he felt none of the typical fatherly reluctance. Just the warmth of family. Outside, Carol Xiao was waiting. When she saw Liam in his wedding attire, her eyes lit up. Liam, you have such great taste. This suit is perfect for you, she gushed. Before Liam could reply, Caleb chimed in a little puzzled. Aren't Cassandra and the others here yet? Catherine said she was going to meet them at the entrance. Mrs. Xia, you didn't go with her? I'm the groom's mother. It wouldn't be right for me to go and welcome the bride's side, would it? Carol said, covering her mouth with her hand and laughing awkwardly. Unlike Caleb and Catherine, this was her first time attending her son's wedding, and she wanted to follow all the rules. Caleb waved a dismissive hand. What's the big deal? We've been family for ages. This is just a formality. Still, it wouldn't look right, Carol said, pulling her phone from her purse with a smile. By the way, Liam, you don't mind if I start a live stream later, do you? Your grandfather and grandmother are too old to fly, so they couldn't make it. I told them you were getting married today, and they've been anxious to see it all. Of course I don't mind, Liam said with a smile and shake of his head. If Stelomar Island weren't so scenic and perfect for a wedding, he would have preferred to have it back home. Great. I'll record it all, and when it's done, I'll post it online. That way, you and Cassandra can look back on it whenever you want, Carol nodded excitedly. Ever since she'd learned how to use her smartphone, she developed a habit of posting all sorts of videos online. Liam was used to it. He stepped outside the hotel. The weather was perfect. Because they had booked the entire island, there were no tourists. Just then, Lord Charles and Princess Anna arrived. Stepping off the boat, Anna followed her father, holding a gift box. Liam, we're not late, are we? No, you're right on time, Caleb answered. We're just about to begin. Leo quickly jogged over to take the gift box. Everyone except Liam took their seats in the hotel's beautifully arranged garden. With a string of firecrackers, the wedding ceremony officially began. I never thought I'd get to see another wedding. Leaning back in his chair, Lord Charles looked on with a wistful sigh. He didn't say it outright, but everyone present understood what he meant. As she gazed at Liam's tall figure in the distance, his shadow stretching long in the sunlight, Carol Xia's mind flashed to an image of Victor Lin. The way Liam mounted the horse was the same dashing motion Victor had used when he taught her to ride so many years ago. Unconsciously, Carol's eyes welled up. Carol, what's wrong? Princess Anna, sitting beside her, was the first to notice her reddened eyes. She quickly passed over a pack of tissues. Lord Charles and Caleb turned to look as well. Seeing her teary-eyed, the two men understood immediately. Caleb said nothing, simply patting her shoulder in a gesture of comfort. Lord Charles felt a sting in his own nose. Carol, don't dwell on it, he said gently. Victor was lucky to have a wife like you, and a son like Liam. This is a happy day. We should be celebrating. Anna, catching on, added her own words of comfort. That's right, Carol. You deserve to be happy now. The children are all grown up. It's time for you to relax and enjoy life. In a few days, you should come with me. I'll take you to some parties. We'll have some fun. Knowing they all meant well, Carol looked at Liam's figure in the distance and felt a warmth spread through her heart. It was like the sun shining down on the great lawn, a perfect spring day where everything was coming back to life. A short while later, a burst of laughter came from the hotel entrance, and everyone turned to look. Chloe and Riley emerged first. With flowers in their hair and dressed in matching pink gowns, they looked adorable and radiant. They held baskets filled with vibrant red rose petals, scattering them as they walked. Behind them was Catherine, her hand extended to support a woman in a red dress. It was the bride, Cassandra. She was a vision, dressed in a traditional, ornate gown, as if she had stepped out of a painting. The gown was a masterpiece of red silk embroidered with gold, crowned with a phoenix coronet and a gilded cape. A sheer red blusher veil obscured her face, but the majestic phoenix design on her gown was unmistakable. As she walked, the train spread out behind her like a crimson cloud, a picture of ancient grace and elegance. The sight was breathtaking. Carol and the others gasped, covering their mouths in awe. Caleb beamed with pride, the very image of a father seeing his daughter finally married. Liam, on horseback, rode across the lawn and dismounted in front of Cassandra. He took the bouquet from Leo and was about to hand it to his bride when Chloe and Riley stepped in front of him, blocking his path. Brother-in-law, you have to pay the toll. Brother, it's a crossing fee. They spoke in unison, arms outstretched. His own sister was now siding with the enemy. Liam sighed in mock exasperation and pulled out the thick envelopes he'd prepared. All right, is this enough? That's it? You're being too stingy, brother-in-law. This isn't even enough to cover a snack. Nope, not good enough. Brother, it's your wedding day. You can't possibly think you can get past us with just this, can you? Chloe pouted, though she quickly snatched the envelope and stuffed it into her pocket. Ever since Cassandra had put them on a budget, Chloe and Riley had been waiting for this moment. Now was the perfect time to extort some cash. This was the perfect opportunity, a moment when even Cassandra couldn't object. Chloe and Riley stood their ground at the entrance, flower baskets in hand, wearing cheeky grins and refusing to let Liam pass. Liam knew the game. He rummaged in his pockets again and produced 2 more large envelopes. How about now? He asked, raising an eyebrow. He'd come prepared. But Riley and Chloe exchanged a look and shook their heads in perfect sync. Nope, still not enough. Brother-in-law, don't be so cheap. Chloe rubbed her hands together gleefully. One more. The parents watched the scene with amusement. It was a joyous day, and a little fun from the younger generation was welcome. No one said a word. Liam glanced past the 2 gatekeepers at the motionless figure of his bride, then nudged Leo with his elbow. Hey, buddy, you got any more envelopes? I'm all out. Leo grinned, unbuttoning his pristine white jacket to reveal 2 entire panels lined with envelopes. Good thing I had a hunch this would happen, he said smugly. You're a lifesaver. I owe you one, Liam said, gratefully patting Leo's shoulder. He swiped the entire string of envelopes off Leo's jacket. They were tied together, forming a chain at least 6 feet long. Is this enough? He asked, presenting the ridiculous chain to the 2 young women. Riley, I think that's probably enough, right? Chloe whispered, nudging her partner in crime. Riley was too busy gathering and counting the envelopes to listen. You can never have too much, she muttered, stuffing them into her dress. Is that all, brother-in-law? Liam was speechless. There's only like $100 in each of these, and Chloe and I have to split it. See, brother-in-law, it's not that much when you think about it, Riley said, her face a mask of pitiful pleading. The sight left Liam at a loss for words. Brother-in-law, you... Oof. Before Riley could say more, she was kicked squarely in the backside, stumbling forward. She spun around to see Cassandra standing right behind her. The red veil was thrown back, revealing a face of exquisite makeup contorted with fury. Riley Thorne, are you trying to die? Cassandra roared, glaring at her sister. Don't think for a second I won't beat you senseless just because it's my wedding day. She then turned her glare on Liam. And you, they're shaking you down, and you just let them? Give them an inch, and they take a mile. Is this ever going to end? Stunned by Cassandra's outburst, Riley was too scared to speak. Liam immediately bowed his head in apology. Yes, dear, you're right. I was wrong. Hearing him call her dear, Cassandra's anger dissipated slightly. Her cheeks flushed as she let out a delicate oomph before lowering the veil back over her face. The parents all burst into laughter. Lord Charles even offered a suggestion. Caleb, I think it's time you and Catherine took a real break. Just hand Riley over to Liam and Cassandra. They'll get her straightened out in no time. Caleb's eyes glinted as he exchanged a look with Catherine. We've been doing that for years, he said with a grin. Ahem. Let's continue with the ceremony. Evelyn cleared her throat, adjusting the collar of her dress and assuming a professional tone. Riley, rubbing her lower back, pouted and shuffled to the side with Chloe. Most weddings have the guests playfully hazing the couple. Who's ever heard of the bride taking charge like this? Riley grumbled. Can you really call this a normal wedding? Chloe retorted. My brother and sister-in-law are practically an old married couple already. The next step, the vows. Evelyn, acting as the MC, picked up her script and cleared her throat. A single red ribbon, 2 souls to unite. Bound by fate for 3 lifetimes, hand in hand into the light. Will the bride and groom please perform the ribbon ceremony? Liam dismounted, handing the reins to Leo, and walked toward Cassandra. Together, they took hold of the red silk ribbon and walked side by side toward the main ceremonial space. The parents were already waiting. As the eldest, Lord Charles sat in the seat of honor. To his left were Caleb and Catherine. To his right, Princess Anna and Carol Xia. Carol held up her phone, the camera aimed squarely at Liam and Cassandra, while on the screen, the smiling faces of George and Martha Xia watched the proceedings. It was the most complete family gathering they'd had in a long time. First, bow to the heavens. Evelyn's voice rang out. Liam and Cassandra turned and bowed together toward the vast ocean. Second, bow to the elders. They turned and bowed toward the assembled parents. In the front row, the elders were beaming, their hands already reaching into their pockets for the cash gifts they were waiting to bestow. And now, bow to each other. Liam and Cassandra turned to face one another. Liam, a head taller, looked down at the top of her phoenix coronet. He moved his lips, whispering, "Is it heavy?" Cassandra, who had just raised her hands, paused, her arm trembling slightly. "It's fine. It looks good, but it must be heavy. I'm throwing this thing out later," Liam muttered, bowing toward her. Beneath the red veil, Cassandra's lips curved into a smile. "Don't be ridiculous. How about we throw this out? Why not? Anything that makes you uncomfortable has to go." "Absolutely not." Seeing them complete the final bow, Evelyn drew out the last word dramatically. "The ceremony is complete." She glanced at the next line on her script and froze, her mouth half open. Riley, waiting impatiently, nudged her. "Evelyn, what are you doing? It's time to escort them to the bridal chamber." Evelyn's lips twitched. Did they really need escorting? They'd been escorted plenty of times before. She felt her boss's gaze on her from behind the veil and knew she was being watched. Her heart skipped a beat. Escort the couple to the bridal chamber." She finally stammered. Saying those words in front of all the parents made her face burn. Liam, however, just raised an eyebrow and nudged Cassandra with his elbow. So, what do you say? On this beautiful, sunny day, should we just head straight to the bridal chamber? From behind the veil, Cassandra's voice came out light and teasing. Whatever you want. Air. The awkwardness was thick in the air until Carol's voice cut through it, breaking the tension. Cassandra, isn't it time for the address change? As the mother of the groom, Carol couldn't have been happier to have such an outstanding daughter-in-law. She covered her mouth, her eyes crinkling with joy. Catherine chimed in, her eyebrows raised. That's right. Liam, you haven't called us anything yet. Today's the day, isn't it? Staring at the expectant faces of the elders, Liam found the words surprisingly hard to say. He was 27 years old. After a childhood of drifting, even when the Hamiltons took him in, he had never once called them dad or mom. The words felt foreign, almost shameful, not unlike the first time he told Cassandra, I love you. He was used to saying it to her now, of course. It came easily. But this, go on, say it. Cassandra, standing closest to him, gave him a sly nudge with her elbow. Liam snapped back to the present, his face a mask of awkwardness. Liam. Cassandra murmured his name from behind the veil, and then it dawned on her. You're not. Shy, are you? WH what? Of course not. His cover blown, Liam's face flushed a deep red. Having spent so much time with him, Cassandra could read him like a book. His over-the-top reaction was all the confirmation she needed. She couldn't stifle a laugh. Oh, so you're shy. Funny, you never seem to be shy when you're with me. Her words were like stroking a lion's fur the wrong way. Liam bristled like a cornered porcupine. How could I be shy? It's just a title. Then say it, Cassandra challenged, blinking innocently. Grandfather, Mom, your daughter-in-law serves you tea, Cassandra announced, her voice clear and confident. She gracefully took the teacups from Haley Lou and presented them one by one to Catherine and Lord Charles. Carol and Charles were beaming. They accepted the tea and immediately pulled out 2 large cash-stuffed envelopes. See? Cassandra isn't shy at all. That's my granddaughter-in-law. Here, take this. They were both grinning from ear to ear. Caleb and Catherine had their hands in their pockets, envelopes at the ready, but Liam still hadn't spoken. They stood frozen, their faces etched with anticipation. Seeing their expressions, Liam steeled himself, gritted his teeth, and forced a smile. Dad, Mom. As the words left his mouth, his toes curled inside his shoes. Thankfully, Catherine and Caleb reacted quickly. Their faces broke into wide, joyous smiles as they each pressed an envelope into his hands. Nearby, Chloe, who was busy collecting her own haul of cash gifts, watched the scene with a puzzled look. What's the big deal? Why is my brother being so weird about this? Riley didn't even look up from stuffing envelopes in her dress. Oh, Chloe, you don't get it, she mumbled. My brother-in-law is all bark and no bite. He acts all tough and righteous, but deep down he's a total softie. Chloe blinked. How do you know? Riley patted her pockets, which were bulging with cash. Are you kidding? If my sister hadn't been the one to make the first move, do you think those two would have ever gotten together? My brother-in-law is the kind of guy you have to practically force-feed. That's why they're so perfect for each other. Chloe frowned, stroking her chin as she considered this. She stared at Liam in the distance and muttered, So what you're saying is, my brother has some pretty complicated tastes. From now on, I'm entrusting my daughter to you. If I hear that you've mistreated her in any way, I'm coming for you, Caleb said, his gaze shifting from his radiant daughter to Liam. His tone was a warning, but his eyes held a clear note of affection. Liam was about to nod in agreement when Cassandra spoke up first. TSK. Dad, does he look like he's capable of mistreating me? Activating nothing like a blushing bride, Cassandra raised her arm. As if on instinct, Liam immediately lifted his own, supporting her elbow. The perfectly whipped display made all the elders laugh. Carol's smile was so wide it nearly split her face. Exactly. A man should be generous. Listening to your wife is the key to wealth. Ha ha, Carol, you said it. Catherine roared with laughter, slapping Carol on the arm. The atmosphere was suddenly filled with joyous noise. The heartwarming scene made Princess Anna envious. She looked at the newlyweds, a hint of longing in her eyes. You know, sometimes I really think I'd like to get married. You were the one who insisted you wouldn't, Lord Charles replied with a knowing smile. That young man waited for you for years, and now you have regrets. As if he'd hit a nerve, Anna's cheeks flushed. He wasn't waiting for me. We're good friends. A friend who waits for years and designs an entire clothing line just for you. Lord Charles couldn't resist another jab. Just as the scene reached a peak of harmony, a car pulled up to the hotel entrance. The sound of its horn made everyone turn. The doors opened, and Simon and Winnie Shaw stepped out. From the back, Stephen Shaw helped Sylvia out of the car and into a wheelchair. The smile on Cassandra's face instantly vanished. She instinctively tightened her grip on Liam's arm, her expression turning frigid. Liam narrowed his eyes and took a small step forward, positioning himself in front of Cassandra. As the Shaw family approached, the atmosphere became thick with tension. Reaching the group, Simon Shaw maintained his smile and was the first to speak. "Liam, please forgive our unannounced arrival. On such a joyous occasion as your wedding, Sylvia said she absolutely had to come and see you both." He stepped aside, and Sylvia was wheeled to the front. Liam instinctively glanced at Cassandra and saw her glaring, a look of pure hostility on her face. His own expression hardened. He gently patted the back of Cassandra's hand. "Don't worry," he murmured, his voice low and steady. "I'm here." The sound seemed to have a magical effect, and some of the tension eased from Cassandra's shoulders, though her face remained a mask of suspicion. Their wedding had been an intimate affair. Aside from close family, even Cassandra's grandparents hadn't made the trip. And now, the Shaws had shown up uninvited. Liam's gaze fell on Sylvia. It had been a long time since their last encounter. Unlike the broken, disheveled woman he remembered, she looked well cared for. Her health had clearly improved, and there was color in her cheeks. But the empty pant leg of her trousers fluttered in the breeze. Liam's brow tightened. "If you have something to say, just say it," he said coolly. After a moment of silence, Sylvia looked back at her brother. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Stephen pulled a bouquet from a bag attached to the wheelchair. It was an arrangement of lilies and tulips, a wish for 100 years of happiness and a symbol of eternal love. Cassandra's expression turned to ice. Liam frowned. Sensing the shift, Stephen Shaw spoke quickly. "This is just a small token of our goodwill. We wish you and sister-in-law 100 years of happiness." As he spoke, he glanced at Sylvia in her wheelchair, the implication clear. Sylvia remained silent, her head bowed. Her eyes darted between Liam and Cassandra. When her gaze landed on their intertwined arms, the hand resting on her wheelchair's armrest trembled slightly. She clenched it into a fist but said nothing. That single address, sister-in-law, did much to diffuse Cassandra's hostility, but she remained wary. This was her old rival, and the history between them was too complicated to forget. Liam, however, understood their intentions. A faint smile touched his lips as he accepted the bouquet and passed it to Leo. "Thank you," he said simply, not offering them a seat. The atmosphere turned cold again. Sensing the awkwardness, Simon Shaw cleared his throat, about to speak, when Carol's clear voice cut in. "Liam, Cassandra, since you have guests, why don't you invite them to sit down?" Her words also made her own position clear. As a witness to the marriage, Lord Charles nodded. "The past is the past. There's no need to rehash old troubles. It's time for us to watch over the children and enjoy our golden years. Have a seat." Caleb gestured to the side. Only then did Simon Shaw finally breathe a sigh of relief. He gratefully glanced at the elders and took Wendy's arm. "Sis, aren't we going over?" Stephen asked, pushing the wheelchair, but finding it wouldn't budge. He bent down and whispered to his sister. Sylvia's lips were pressed into a thin line, her eyes fixed on Liam and Cassandra. After a long silence, she spoke. "I have something I want to say to you both." She used the word both, clearly drawing a line between them and herself. Cassandra, never one for pleasantries, was in no mood to be gracious. She shot Sylvia a dismissive glance. "On a day like today, what could I possibly have to say to you?" "My sister doesn't mean any harm," Stephen interjected, instinctively looking to Liam for support. But Liam simply squeezed Cassandra's hand and smiled. "My wife has a bit of a temper. I'm sure you understand." Sylvia bit her lip and forced out the words. "For everything that happened before, I'm sorry." The apology was so sudden it stunned everyone present. Even Cassandra was taken aback. It was like throwing a punch and hitting a pillow. The anger on her face faltered, but she recovered quickly, her expression returning to one of cold indifference. "As if I could afford to accept an apology from you," she drawled, her tone dripping with sarcasm. Rebuffed twice, Stephen clenched his fists but held his tongue. Sylvia's gaze darkened, but she continued as if talking to herself. "I was wrong before. I was too obsessed. I didn't consider anyone else's feelings. I apologize to you both." "All right, you've had your say. If I don't accept, I'll just look petty, won't I?" Cassandra cut her off, not bothering to let her finish. She scanned the area, then tightened her arm around Liam's. "Since you're here, your guests. Sit down."